The Pittsburgh Penguins are in big trouble because the Jake Guenzal injury causes issues on the ice and off ice. Issue is, you're going to lose a top 6 forward for free. That is the biggest issue for Pittsburgh. We also talk about who is the MVP of the NBA so far.
Yeah, like you said, 6th seed at best when we were even playing. He's taking that jump. He's taking that leadership role. I think he should be the MVP as well for that reason, right?
And we react to Ilia Topuria's knockout win over Alexander Volkanovski.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the BTR podcast.
Before we get started, please like, comment, subscribe.
As always, make sure you guys follow our socials, link down below. Audio listeners, whatever platform you guys use, we drop them on there as well. Make sure you guys rate it, review it, and download the podcast there as well. And let's just get right into it. NHL, NBA heavy. Let's just get with the NHL. Let's get off with the big news. It's not a trade. It's not a signing, but something that could potentially hurt a trade, which is the Jake Guenzal injury.
Jake Guenzal picked up an injury. He's out for at least 4 weeks. I think it's already been a week, so probably 3 more. And that's huge for the deadline talks because Jake Guenzal is obviously the number 1 trade target if it's clear he's going to get traded.
Okay, so
we don't know.
We're going to have trade targets later on. Yeah. He's not number 1 because we don't know.
We don't know,
right? Yeah. So he will miss up to 4 weeks, like you said, due to an upper body injury. Do you want to talk about the Guenzal trade thing? Or do you want to talk about that later when we talk about trade targets?
Focus on Guenzal.
No, I was saying
everything Guenzal.
Pittsburgh as a whole.
Yeah, everything.
Okay, so obviously Guenzal's injury, not much to say. He got hurt. He's one of the top scorers. You mentioned that he might be in the trade talks. Obviously, Canucks were linked to it, but heavily recently was the Oilers. But, you know, many people like myself think he won't get traded because, you know, Pittsburgh's in the hunt. And why do you want to take away Sidney Crosby's line mates? Now, Kyle Dubas is the new guy in charge, right? President of hockey ops and everything. So maybe he's like, okay, well, do I really want to commit and give this guy 7 years and whatever million he's looking for? Because he's on a cheap deal right now, right? That's what Rutherford gave him when he was in charge. But yeah, the question is, so essentially that game he got hurt, it was a lose-lose for them. They lost the game and they're not in a playoff spot at the moment. So they have to chase, which means, and Guenzal's out and since it's up to 4 weeks, he might not be fully ready in 4 weeks, but then he might have to force himself to play like how every athlete would if there's a playoff push in hand. Yeah,
so they could potentially lose Guenzal for free is the biggest issue, right, for Pittsburgh right now. And this injury doesn't help because it's just terrible timing for him. Gensal's obviously an incredible player, right? Obviously, apart from Crosby, Malkin, you know, one of the main reasons they won the cup back-to-back years. Guenzal is a stud top 6 forward guaranteed. No, there's no ifs and buts about it. There's only one knock is like, oh, can he do this without Crosby? Whatever, we're not going to know that. But the thing is this, right? Is losing him for free worth it?
But no, they're screwed even more. He's injured.
So his value, that's the biggest issue.
His value already dropped.
The issue was
this is why Calgary was smart to trade Lindholm and there's a door
pretty early. But the thing is this, right? Like the issue wasn't, or they're gonna make the playoffs. They're doing this, right? If they're gonna Guenzal's a free, the issue is you're gonna lose a top 6 forward for free. That is the biggest issue for Pittsburgh.
And they're not in a playoff spot. So right now, Pittsburgh, like I said, they're in that lose-lose
situation.
Well,
they can lose it. They didn't lose him yet, but they can lose him for free.
So the question is here, they're 10 points off the Metro's 3rd spot, which is Philly at the moment. And then they're 7 points out of Detroit of the final wildcard spot. They have 2 games on hand on Detroit, 4 games on hand on Philly. So if they do somehow win out, they could be potentially 2 behind Philly at that point. But yeah, no, Pittsburgh is probably I think based on we put them in B because they were actually doing well. Ever since that tier list dropped, they kind of went downhill. And honestly, if we were to redo that at this moment, they would probably be D or F, right? Probably F.
Yeah, we're the curse, I guess, for all these teams. The BTR curse.
Not really. But
for some teams we are. Pittsburgh we are. Sorry, Pittsburgh fans.
But no, right? Like I thought Pittsburgh was a lock top 3. I still believe if Guenzal comes back, they'll make the playoffs.
I don't know.
But
I don't know.
It's tough.
There's nothing to convince you that they can make the playoffs.
But the question here with Pittsburgh is, what do you do, right? Do you take and then not even just Pittsburgh, do the Canucks or the Oilers, whoever or any team by that matter, take a risk in giving up assets and hope Guenzal is going to be healthy for them in the playoffs, right? It's an upper body injury. I'm not sure which upper body part it is, but So Pittsburgh side of things, how do you just trade him at this point? Try to trade him, or do you listen to Crosby? Because I'm sure Crosby's probably like, don't trade him. Like, we're on a playoff push. He's literally my line mate, right? That we're the only two guys that are killing it right now. Malkin stepped down a lot, right? And he's 7, 8 years old right now. Malkin himself, so eventually there's gonna be a deterioration or like
there's be a drop
off. Yeah. So at this point, let's question number 1 for you. Pittsburgh, do they try to trade him, or do you think they'll keep him even if he's injured?
I think they're gonna keep him personally. Reason being just because at the end of the day they're listening to Crosby. Whatever Crosby says is gonna go, and Crosby rightfully earned that right. Right? There's no knock against Crosby. He has as much as say as a GM does. Right?
But at some point,
the GM is the guy. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that, but Crosby is one of those players that has that right to step in and say something.
100%.
That's for sure.
That doesn't mean he's gonna be right though.
It doesn't matter, but it doesn't.
I know. I'm just saying. I'm saying the same thing with LeBron.
Yeah, no,
it doesn't matter though. Same thing with McDavid and all these guys.
They're gonna have their way, right? And you gotta, at the end of the day, when you're a GM, you gotta make Crosby happy.
So that's you don't think they will do it? Do you think they should?
At
this point,
they
have 4 weeks.
I don't think the thing is this, right? Every time I saw Guenzal's name, one thing popped in my head. I was like, you made all these moves to make that push.
Yeah.
Right. And you're not completely out of it yet either. So
so they have 4 weeks to see how far back are they gonna be.
Exactly.
That's the question mark.
At the moment, I would say no.
Shouldn't.
Yeah.
But you want to assess to see, because this is their upcoming. I don't know when he got hurt, but in between, I don't know if it was the Panthers game they lost. They beat the Blackhawks. They lost to the Kings today. They have Islanders, Canadians, Flyers, Canucks, Kraken. So 4 weeks would put them on March 18-ish. So that means Flames, Oilers, Blue Jackets, Capitals, Bruins, Oilers, Sens, Sharks, Rangers. Let's just cut it off there. And Red Wings, I guess.
It's a mix. It's not the worst.
So
it's
they
not
could
the best.
If they go 500, depending on the teams behind them and how.
If they go 500, they'd finish.
They might be done.
They can't go 500.
Yeah, because the teams ahead of them are going to just keep going further and further.
They can't afford
like
to be 500.
In that situation, they have a must-win against the Red Wings. They have a must-win against the Bruins. They have
the Flyers.
The Flyers, Capitals, even because they're right on their tails. And the Islanders, right? So those are like the must-wins for them, and they have to pray. It's in a tough spot, right? I don't think that he is gonna get traded. I don't think he should get traded, right? On Pittsburgh side of things, we'll talk about the other teams in a second. I don't know how healthy he's gonna be when he comes back, right? So yes, I agree with you that they shouldn't trade him now, but see how this plays out. If they go 500, I say explore possibilities, right? So I'll agree with you there, 100%, no disagreement there. Question for you now is, if you're Edmonton, if you're the Canucks, if you're whoever, Colorado, whatever, do you still pursue Guenzal knowing this uncertainty? I think the package before was they want 1 or 2 picks, first rounders, maybe a prospect, and obviously a salary filler role player type of thing. Yeah,
so I think the value obviously drops. And if I'm any team in the league that is considering to contend, or in the contending or contenders, or just below it, I am 100% making a call to Pittsburgh every day of the week. I will call them every single day, even if I'll piss them off.
Yeah.
I will piss them off if I'm a GM. I will call them every single day, even if they don't like my package. Because Jake Guenzal, at the end of the day, he has everything, right? He legit has the skill. He has the experience. He has the accolades. He's been there, done it. Jake Guenzal is a stud.
So you want teams to take a risk, though?
Yes, he's a top 6 forward.
So you're willing to give up 2 first-rounder picks. So let's talk about the Canucks, since we know the Canucks well. You're willing to give up...
But the value's done. I don't think it's going to be 2 first-rounders, especially with his injury.
So my point is, like, let's just say they stick to their value. 2 first-rounders, which the Canucks don't have this year.
Well, I don't think the Canucks can afford them.
No, I'm just saying in general. Yeah, let's just say as a team wants to give up 2 first-round picks, they're one of their A- B+ level prospects at the minimum, and I don't know, just like how Bavilio was thrown in the Horvat trade, like someone like that.
I don't think the Canucks.
Not the Canucks. I'm
can get them. I know. I'm just putting that to bed.
Yeah.
Oilers. I'm calling. I don't give a shit. I really am calling.
Because they're the most desperate team in the league.
Like, they are really built to win. They genuinely are, and it's gonna. The McDavid years are not gonna last forever, right? Same with Draisaitl, and if you could, like, you already have your top line set, in my opinion. If you could get this guy paired up with Draisaitl, right, or even just load up heavy and go like McDavid, Guenzal, and Draisaitl or McDavid, Guenzal, and Hyman at the minimum, that is, I don't know how you stop that. Like, that is incredible. It was already a tough time stopping Edmonton because they went on a 16-game win streak, and they went on another 8-game one before when who was their coach again that got hired? The McDavid guy.
Knoblauch.
Yeah, when he got hired.
Yeah.
And you add in another star like that is incredible.
What other team should call?
Other teams should call.
If you look at the standings right now, if you want.
Like,
I'm Boston.
I'll say Colorado just because of something for Landeskog replacement type of thing.
If I'm Boston, you kind of have to at this point. Right? We're going to talk about the playoffs next. So we'll close off Pittsburgh before we talk about the rest. And then we'll get into the trade targets afterwards. But, if you're other teams, I'm saying Winnipeg should give them a call.
Winnipeg's a shout for sure.
I'm saying Edmonton, obviously Colorado. Those are the ones that give a call. I don't think any of the wildcard teams should. I don't think LA LA, again, it's a rental. You got to keep that in mind.
It's a rental, right? As well, yeah.
So a team like LA could maybe afford him in the offseason if they really, really wanted to, right? So a team that's going... Edmonton's the most desperate team in the league. We all know that. Them and Toronto, but more Edmonton because they have McDavid and Draisaitl, right?
Yeah.
And they were there 2 years in a row within reach of if they had won that series... Their series that they lost in eventually.
Get Guenzal, you load up against Vegas, right? Because we all know the West is going to run through Vegas.
We all know Oilers' issue is the defensive side of things and goaltending, consistency of the goaltending.
Yeah, no, but
the depth at forwards is still needed.
At this rate, but who's available, right? Realistically, it's gonna be a tough trading with Calgary, especially when you're Edmonton. Goalies you can never trust. Obviously, UC Saros can be available.
Yeah, we'll talk about them in the trade targets. We'll hold that right now.
Markstrom could be another one.
Not Markstrom. What's his name?
Yeah,
Markstrom is sorry.
One, yeah.
Korpisalo. No, Merzlikins. Sorry.
Merzlikins,
always
yeah.
mix those two up.
So it's tough, but I think Guenzal is that guy, right? You just do it. If you have a chance of doing it, you just do it, especially when you're a contender.
Let's see, because Pittsburgh's in a weird spot. They have heavy contracts.
Old guys, very
Crosby's
old guys.
off the books in 2 years. They just extended Letang and Malkin, I think, this past offseason, or at least offseason before. I think it was Rutherford was in charge of Vancouver. That's what the links are always there with Malkin. Yeah, so we'll see what happens. Let's switch over to the playoff picture like how we did with the NBA last episode. By the way, just a heads up, we dropped the last podcast, which was this NBA one, again because of some editing issues on the original video.
That's my fault, guys.
We dropped that again. That's why it's at less views. So just check that out. I already put a YouTube community post on it. We'll do another reminder near the end of the podcast. But sticking with Pittsburgh, you have the standings out. What do you predict for them? Do you see a picture right now? They're 4 weeks without Guenzal. Do you see them making a push for at least the wild card spot?
No, I think the Red Wings are better. I think the Red Wings are a really good team. Like, they've been playing really well. Obviously, Tampa's always in the mix. Devils, you can't really bet against the Devils. Just
division-wise, they have Philly.
Like, I know Devils haven't convinced us. Don't get me wrong, but you can't bet against the Devils, right? They're too talented.
Yeah.
Right. At the end of the day, if they click for 5 games, they're set. Right. And other than that, right, like
division-wise, they have Philly at third. And I know Devils are ahead of them, so that's another team ahead of them there.
Yeah.
But, like, what do you say? And they have the Islanders and the Capitals ahead. Capitals are done, in my opinion. Islanders, I watched the Rangers game today. They had the lead. They choked. They didn't get the new coach bump with Patrick Waugh. So it's not like they're anything crazy. They're Pittsburgh right now anyways themselves. Except Pittsburgh should be better than them, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah, for sure. They should be better. But, no, it's going to be a tough make for sure.
So you're predicting no?
I think it doesn't mean no. I don't think we're seeing them in the playoffs.
Pretty much, we're leading off with the Pittsburgh Penguins. You're saying that Guenzal should not be traded until we see what happens with the next 4 weeks.
It's not even that. It's just like, I'm not saying
with Guenzal, do you think they had
the situation is impossible for them, close to impossible. What the hell is the right answer? We don't know.
You gotta hope they go on that Cleveland Cavaliers run without him, essentially.
Yeah, you have to. Otherwise, you have to get rid of him.
Yeah,
you can't let this guy go for free. That's all. If you let Guenzal go for nothing, that's a big mistake. That's the one thing you can't do. What if you re-sign him, trade him. Do not let this man go for
Since
nothing.
Winnipeg, essentially, they lost to the Wild, they lost to the Jets. Oh, well, they beat Winnipeg the first time. They lost to the Jets again. The second time, sorry, not again. They lost to the Wild, who are on a push themselves, which is crazy.
Bro, they're 3-6-1.
And they lost to the Panthers, they lost to the Kings.
Okay,
so all those games,
the simplest way to put it.
were the good teams.
The simplest way to put it. They're 3-6-1 of the last 10.
Yeah.
So he's already missed.
Yeah.
So what convinces anyone that they're gonna do good without Guenzal, even though when they were struggling with him already?
Yeah, true. So you're saying they're an out for sure.
They're done.
Okay, so let's talk about the rest of the playoffs here. Let's stick with the East. We have a new sheriff in town, and the Florida Panthers overtaking the Boston Bruins. Florida Panthers 5-game win streak, 9 wins in their last 10. Boston lost 4 in a row. They're at the second seed right now of the Atlantic Division, 1 point behind Florida. And then Toronto is back up there at 66 points. They're third. They're battling with Tampa Bay for the third and wildcard 1. So that's Atlantic Division. Metropolitan Division, Rangers look decently ahead in the first seed right now. I think Carolina's pretty much locked up the second seed at this point. Philly, still the surprise, at third. Wildcard 1, Tampa Bay. Wildcard 2, Detroit Red Wings. No playoffs at the moment, which is the Devils, Islanders, Capitals, Penguins. I could comfortably say now the Senators are not last anymore, but Senators are out. The Blue Jackets are out.
We'll just call them the rest.
So the rest are the Columbus Blue Jackets, Ottawa Senators, I guess the Montreal Canadiens, and the Buffalo Sabres. So those bottom 4 are there. I'll give Pittsburgh a fighting chance. We just got to see what they do. But obviously, we're not. We're not confident in them.
Right now, like looking at, you have 5 Atlantic teams and 3 Metropolitan. Obviously,
yeah,
3 is guaranteed. Yeah, it'll be surprising if Florida and Boston aren't the 1 and 2 seeds in their respective divisions. I mean, their division. Not respective. Rangers should have.
I think Rangers and Canes are locked to 1 2.
Rangers and Canes should be 1 and 2 in their division. So it really comes down to the 3 seeds and the wild card spots. Obviously, it's going to be a tight race. It's going to come down to it for sure. I do believe the Devils. I don't know, man.
I do believe the Devils too.
They have to, right? You can't do what you did last year and miss the playoffs.
So here's my thing.
Especially when you have cup contending.
Let's talk about wild card then.
Expectations.
Yeah, they're right now how many points out of? They're 5 points off with 2 games in hand. So that's relatively, if they win those 2 games, they're 1 point behind Philly out of the third divisional spot, right? Which I feel like it's fair. If they get to the third divisional spot, then I'm worried about Carolina because again, goaltending and all that is still an issue for them, injuries wise. But the Devils is the same thing. Their goaltending is the big reason why they're getting let down. They obviously traded away Damon Severson, and I forgot who the other guy was gone as well. When we talked to Greg Wyshynski the first time,
did they have Sharangovich?
No, it was someone else. I forgot. So obviously, defensively they're getting let down. Does not help when your Selke finalist was injured in Nico Hischier, but more importantly, your early MVP favorite of the whole league was Jack Hughes, who was obviously out multiple times at 2 different stints as well, right? So, but I'm with you. I think they get in because they're only 2 games out of the wild card at the very minimum.
That's crazy because they've dealt with a lot, right?
Now,
Dougie Hamilton's out. He's out because he has a torn pec.
Imagine this though,
and they still have a fighting chance.
Imagine if you're the Rangers or the Panthers though, and this weekend is the second wild card.
That's gonna be tough. That's gonna be scary. Like that will be a scary matchup. If I'm the Rangers or the Panthers, right now your current 1 seeds for each division, you don't want to face the Devils in the first round. You can't afford to do that.
So ultimately, who do you think falls out for the Devils? Because I think we both agree that they should get in.
It's probably the Flyers. Yeah, we've been saying this for a while, but at the end of the day, are you convinced?
I'm not convinced by them or Detroit.
Yeah.
Even when the Canucks played
I still
Detroit,
believe Detroit still has the talent, right? At the end of the day, right? You have Dylan Larkin, you have Lucas Raymond, you have Patty Kane, you have Sider, you have...
I get that.
Your goaltending is questionable.
Philly's got Tortorella, and we've seen what Tortorella did with Columbus.
At the end of the day, we're agreeing that these are 2 teams.
Yeah.
If I were to pick one, I would pick Philly over Detroit.
I would pick Detroit. I would take Detroit over Philly.
To fall out. Yeah.
I think Philly seems like a wild card team at this point. I don't want to disrespect them too much and say that they're missing it. I'm not, because Detroit's hanging on. The unfortunate thing with Detroit though, they're in the tougher division. That's the reason why I'm picking against them as well. Yeah. Because I don't see Detroit finding their way in the top 3.
They're not
at all.
They're right?
Not. Tampa's in the wild card 1. Tampa, I think, should get in at this point, right? So, yeah, I agree. I agree that Devils get in, but I disagree that it's it's at the expense of the Flyers. I think it's the expense. It's at the expense of the Red Wings.
I just think there's gonna be 5 allotting teams in.
How
So
much
if they have to get in, it has to
Capitals were you done?
be. I think the 5 allotting teams get in. If it has to be for the Devils, they have to get into the Metropolitan.
Okay. Capitals were you done?
Done.
And the Islanders. They're weird. They have 18 regulation losses, but 14 losses in extra.
I think it's done, man. I'm not confident in them. It's just the Devils at that outside looking in as the only team that I could see that could get in.
I'll give them a fighting chance still.
I mean, you could give everyone a fighting chance.
No, but those are the ones I'm confident in. Pittsburgh, I'm not confident in, but I have to give him a puncher's chance because of Crosby, because he just might randomly tear it up. But Washington, I agree with you, they're done because it's not like Ovechkin's doing anything. But yeah, I think the Devils are get in. Unfortunately, I think Detroit misses out. That's just me. But to close out the Eastern Conference, Florida have overtaken. In my opinion, they're the best team in the East. Agree or disagree?
Yeah, Rangers have a case because Rangers.
So are you agreeing or disagreeing?
Huh? I would.
I'm not saying they're clear cut. I'm saying are they the favorites?
I would agree right now for sure. Obviously, the only team I could think of is the Rangers, just because they've been
Boston is
good
finally
from the beginning.
Boston
as well.
is finally showing
Like Boston, we always had like question marks, right?
Yeah.
Yes, they've been outperforming our expectations, but at the same time,
it's catching up now.
It will catch up, right?
Yeah.
And if it's better to have it catch up now than in the playoffs, right? So if you deal with the shit right now, is good. Figure out this adversity, figure out this little rut you're in. You have the deadline as well. You could add a center always. So who knows? It's instead of being in the playoffs, we're like, oh, this is the first time a lack of centers that are really killing you.
Okay, so we'll hold off on our mid-season finals prediction right now. Let's go over to the Western Conference. The Vancouver Canucks, even though they lost to the Winnipeg Jets, still hold the top spot of the conference. Top in the division at 80 points. Vegas, 68. Edmonton is at third at 65. LA, first wild card spot, 64. St. Louis, second wild card spot. I forgot the Central. The Central, Dallas is, again, one of the more underrated teams in the league out of the top teams. At 75 points at number 1. Colorado's number 2, and Winnipeg right behind them at number 3. 4 games in hand, so they could probably overtake the second seed as well.
They'll overtake the first seed, bro. There's 3 games in hand.
Yeah.
And they're 4 points off. They could even overtake the 1 seed.
True. Outside looking in, Nashville at the moment, Minnesota, Seattle, and Calgary. So the rest, Chicago and Sharks and Ducks don't care.
Coyotes are
and
done.
Unfortunately, the Coyotes' luck has run out.
They're done.
So
that's crazy. Calgary is the topic.
Is Calgary? Okay, let's start off with Calgary. Are they the new Nashville Predators?
They are
From last
realistically
year.
because they got rid of. They made 2 trades.
They got rid of their best. I guess not their best players this year, even because some people didn't think he should have been an All-Star. But I guess one of their top forwards who was struggling still in Elias Lindholm, and they got rid of a depth defenseman. I guess you could say more so for them in Zadorov. We're going to talk about trade targets soon. Number 1 on the board is Chris Tanev, who Calgary fans might be cringing a little bit because the way Chris Tanev plays is not reckless, but like he plays with his heart, meaning he'll block every shot.
He does
and
everything.
He'll come back, so an injury is bound to happen, and they don't want, if they were to trade him, they don't want, like the Guenzal thing, they don't want that to happen, right? Do Calgary get better if they trade Hanifin and Tanev, and I forget who the other unrestricted free agent they have. And then they have, obviously, Rasmus Anderson's name's been thrown in there, and Jacob Markstrom as well, right? So how much of a shot do you give Calgary? Let's talk about the wild card before we talk about the top teams.
Honestly, I was like, okay, they're done after Lindholm trade. I was like, okay,
they went on a 4-game win streak.
But they just went on a run, right?
But now they're on a 3-game losing streak.
So I don't think they're making the playoffs.
No.
But I am really surprised of how much of a chance they actually made it.
I feel like if they make those trades, they'll finally know their direction.
Yeah.
And they'll just play freelance hockey.
There's no benefit of them making a push anyways.
Yeah.
In the long-term risk. Long-term wise. Obviously, is it great, to have your teammates to playoffs? So good to watch. Don't get me wrong. I would prefer that any day of the week.
Yeah.
But for Calgary's sake, for Calgary's future's sake, the one thing I really gets to me now, obviously being a Raptors fan, is losing players for free. And
they've experienced it.
Tanev's, like you had it with Kachuk, who was last minute. Right, you got something out of it, don't get me wrong.
Goudreau's a big one.
Goudreau was always the bigger one. Kachuk was last minute. The end of the day, right? They had to do.
Still got a good package out of it.
They got a good package.
They just messed up by extending it.
Yeah, they got a package out of it. Don't be wrong, but I'll guarantee you right now, they would have gotten a much better package if they known more earlier. Goudreau was obviously very no.
That one was tough because they were the 1 seed.
They were the 1 seed.
It was tough.
But if they managed to trade Goudreau at the deadline, there, like imagine how haul they were going. Because Goudreau that year
was insane. He was like top 3 I think.
Yeah,
or he was in consideration at least.
Yeah. So I know it's better. It's best that you gotta trade Tanev. Hanifin, obviously, you would try to keep him because he's a little bit younger and he's actually.
I'd trade him.
But if you could try to keep him.
Call the team that you already made a trade to, Jersey.
Yeah, that's true.
That's the team.
But I'm saying, like, Hanifin is still like worth keeping.
Yeah.
Whereas Tanev is at 34. Is he good? Yes, he's incredible. But there's no point in keeping Tanev, especially if you're going the repo route.
Seattle Kraken, the most up and down team.
They always have a chance.
I feel like the second wild card is so wide open because I'm not sold on St. Louis.
No, you can't be. Like, they're only 2 points ahead.
Yeah.
And 4 points ahead, right?
Yeah.
Like, the West is much more tighter than the East, which is surprising to say. Because the Eastern Conference is...
West is best now.
Yeah. That's crazy. Because Eastern Conference was like, oh, yeah, there's these many teams. Who the hell's going to make it?
Exactly. So you're still giving them a fighting chance. Minnesota is just that team that, like...
I don't know how Minnesota
had injuries. Yeah, like they came out of nowhere once.
I don't know how they're here. I'm so confused.
They beat the Golden Knights. They beat the Penguins. They lost to the Ducks, which is hilarious. But yeah, like at one moment they had 3-game win streak, and then they had another 4-game win streak, right? So they might mess around and just make it. Like they're playing. Obviously, I don't know how many injuries they have. Let me check because I think Kaprizov came back, right?
Spurgeon's out for the year.
Yeah,
their captain.
Marcus Foligno's out. Sam Hentes is out. Yeah.
Eriksson,
Maroon. Yeah, so like honestly,
Eriksson Ek's been injured for a bit.
What's carrying them is
Eriksson Ek's been injured for a bit as well too. But yeah, what's carrying them is what?
Brock Faber.
Yeah.
And Marco Rossi, who were considered
rookies.
2 or 3 rookies.
Yeah.
So, and then obviously as long as you have Joel Eriksson Ek, and then as long as you have Kirill Kaprizov, you'll always have a chance. So, just because of their little, I thought they were done, right? Even after they had that little streak with John Hines, when they hired him, I thought they were done. After that, they went on a skid after the injuries. Now they're back on the rise, and like I said, I'm not sold on St. Louis at all. Like if I'm the Canucks, I need to hope they hold a top seed because they'll probably get St. Louis
or any of
those teams at the moment. Because I'm not trusting Canucks in LA.
It's fair to say that the top 3 seeds in the Pacific and the Central are locked.
Yes.
Right. Yes, I know Edmonton's only 1 point ahead of Kings right now, but they have 2 games in hand, and a 16-game win streak has convinced me that Edmonton should be a top 3 seed in the Pacific Division. So it's generally going to come down to the wild card, and the wild card race is very tight. So for the West, which is crazy.
And then Nashville, same thing. No, they're just lumped in.
So whoever makes it just makes it at this rate, right? Because they're all similar teams. They're all in a similar tier, right?
LA's for sure wild card 1 for you.
Yeah, I think LA should be in for sure. So that 2 seed.
So 7 out of the 8 teams where you're locked.
Yeah.
Okay, and then I agree with that. And then I think the final spot comes down to those 5 teams. I'll take Calgary out of it. I'll say this out of the 4
Calgary's
teams.
out of it.
But okay, let's go to the top. The Canucks obviously coming off. Let's talk about the Canucks here. Coming off a loss against Jets. Obviously, they've been good against some good teams. They have been okay. Like it's been weird, right? Like those 2 road trips they had. Like that New York road trip was insane for them because they're all playoff-ish teams.
Yeah, they've been like 50-50, right? Like they lost to Vegas and Colorado, but they've also like beaten like the Rangers. They've beaten the Hurricanes, right? They've beaten the Tampa Bay Lightning once. So it's like they've beaten good teams. They also lost to good teams.
So the next stretch is the big one that's coming up for me to absolutely convince myself.
It's more of a test now because they have one of the hardest schedules remaining.
Yes.
In the NHL too.
So for me, it's like, what are they going to do the rest of the way to be confident? Yeah, don't get me wrong. They already exceeded everybody's expectations. No one thought they were going to be the best team in the league. Yeah. No one thought they were going to have 6 All-Stars. No one thought their coach was going to be rookie or coach of the year at this year. Maybe some people did. That one was the more given one. But everything else, no one thought they were going to have like 3 award finalists and all that stuff, right? Or even winners. But yeah, to me, it's like if now like your future games, you're playing Minnesota on a day game today when this comes out. You're playing Colorado. That's the big test again. Because again, I care that you beat the good teams out of the East, but if you can't beat the teams out of the West, that's the teams you're going to be going to the playoffs.
That's concerned.
To eventually play that team out of the East.
Yeah, because the record against the East has been really good.
Yeah.
Right, and that doesn't matter unless you make the final.
Exactly.
So yeah, you got a good point there for sure. Yeah, you got to beat Vegas. Like the only good team you beaten was Edmonton, but that's when they was shit.
Dallas.
Dallas did well against Dallas. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they won 1-1 against Dallas.
So yeah, that's my Canucks talk. We'll just keep that there. We dropped a video on official sign Phil Kessel clip from our last pod, so check that out as well. But yeah, so we'll leave the Canucks talk there for right now. Vegas Edmonton should be 2-3. If I'm the Canucks,
I don't
hold on to that. But the Central is the one the most interesting.
Like, it's locked 3.
Yeah.
But we don't know where those 3 are gonna be.
I feel like no one talks about we thought no one talked about Winnipeg. I don't hear many people talk about Dallas.
That's fair.
Because we acknowledge that Winnipeg gets talked about. Now we're talking about Winnipeg. They're kind of falling off. Not falling off. They had like that little stretch of losing. Now they're kind of coming back around. Dallas is the team that I'm like, no one's talking about them. And they were my cup finalists.
Same.
And yours, right?
Same, yeah.
And I'm not, spoiler alert, I'm not changing that at the moment.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I think they're a sneaky, they're like that sneaky not talked about team that will win it all. Like, we thought about LA at the beginning of the year. Right? But I think obviously Dallas is well rounded.
The thing is this,
from forward to goalie.
I never felt that like we never talked about Dallas because I always thought this about like nothing about my viewpoints of Dallas changed from the beginning.
I'm talking about like a
general
media
and the general topic, yeah, is fair. But like for us, it was generally like I thought Dallas could be that team this year. Obviously they made the Western Conference Finals last year. Good run for them. Then you still have the same squad. Right, your core is pretty young. Like they're here to stay.
Yeah, no, for sure.
They're here to stay.
We'll hear more noise in the playoffs for sure.
Yeah, they're here to stay, and they should be here again next year.
They're still a cup contender to you, right? It's not like anything's changed.
Yeah, no, nothing changed for me for Dallas. Like they've been just what they are supposed to do. They did what they're supposed to do, and they haven't let off realistically.
Okay, so. Let's talk, unless you want to talk about Colorado, let's end the playoff talk here for a second before we move over to the trade targets, which is on the beginning of, I think, March 8th or something like that. But last question to close this all out. Beginning of the year, I had Dallas, New Jersey final. I think I had Jersey winning it. You had Dallas. Carolina. What's your cup final now, essentially after the All-Star break?
You know what? I'm going to stick with it.
You're sticking with it?
Yeah.
I kind of have to change mine, but yeah.
I'm going to stick with it, right? Like, both teams are in the playoffs for me. Both teams should be locked in the playoffs for me. Yes, Carolina is living up to it. Not really. But I feel like them not being a 1 seed kind of might be good for them to the point that, like, they're not as pressured, right? They're not as favorite as they were. Because every time they were the 1 seed, they lost either in the second round. Obviously, apart from last year.
Their issue right now is the goaltending.
Yeah, it is goaltending.
So I'm not confident in Carolina because of
unless if Freddie Anderson makes his return, we don't know.
Which I think he is practicing at the moment.
So that's going to be a huge bump.
For me, I'm going with it. I think they're the best team in the East by far. I'm still sticking with Dallas because, again, Vegas hasn't been healthy, and we know, obviously, the easy pick is Vegas when they're healthy. But I'm still sticking with Dallas, and I'm going with Florida still. I think they're coming back. They're healthy now. They've just overtook the first seed, which means they should get an easier first-round match at the moment. Like, to me, Florida's by far the best team in the East. I have to pick Florida at this point.
Yeah, I'm sticking with mine. I want Dallas.
You're fair. Yeah. I have to change mine. Devil's not even in. So, I'm jumping off that bandwagon for now. And we'll see how that goes.
For now.
Okay, speaking of the trade targets, when we mentioned Jake Guenzal earlier, let's talk about the current, based on the score, ranking top trade targets. Number 1 was Elias Lindholm a while ago, obviously taken off the board. The new number 1 is Chris Tanev, right shot D, that's a number 1. Number 2, pending UFA. Number 3, cheaper cap hit at $4.5 million. Number 4, just an overall leader, right? Put his body on the line. Every Canucks player raves about him still to this day. That they're probably obviously Elliot Friedman and Rick Dhaliwal have said they don't have the assets to get him now. They were trying to package in with Lindholm. Obviously couldn't happen. But any team that wants him, if I'm the New Jersey Devils, go. You need to be on the phone right now and go get him. Because at least you'll have a defensive guy. If I'm like...
someone could fill in for...
Obviously Edmonton, but I doubt
he'll
they'll
fill
make
in
a
for
trade.
Dougie. Dougie's on the right side as well.
Yeah.
And obviously...
But you'll get a leader, and you'll get like...
You're going to get a stud.
A true vet as well. And you're getting a stud who still plays well, who knows how to protect his body a little bit more now than he did with the early-ish stages of the Canucks.
Yeah,
right?
that's fair.
So for me, I think a team... He has a 10-team no-trade list. But for me, I think the perfect spot at the moment, you have the standings out for me. I think it's New Jersey. If you have any other team, can you... obviously, Toronto is the highly linked to him
Toronto
right now. Toronto is the favorite right now to get him.
Toronto legit has to do it.
Toronto is the favorite to get him at the moment, but I think New Jersey should call him. And who else is in that playoff spot?
I think every team should call him.
Well, I know that.
I know.
But I'm going to be realistic here.
Yeah, I mean, it's Toronto. It has to be Toronto. It's the best. It's the best fit.
Number 2 is his teammate. I think his also partner, Noah Hannafin. Difference is he's on the left shot. He's 27, who's on a $4.95 million cap hit, also a pending UFA. He has an 8-team no-trade list. Once again, Toronto. Once again, New Jersey. But whoever just left shot D, whoever is lacking depth there, he'll obviously fill in as a top 2, I guess, left shot side guy.
Yeah, that's fair.
Number 3 is the next guy up after Lindholm and Monahan. Do you know who it is?
Who?
Adam Henrique.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, Adam Henrique, also 10-team no-trade list. He was the guy that everybody was saying is the third center to go after Lindholm, which was the lead of the elite. Monahan just under. I think Monahan and Henrique were in the same tier. So if you need a center, he's good defensive guy, proven first liner as well. But he obviously is going to fill your bottom 6 or even middle 6 at least.
Probably middle 6, I would say.
Could play wing, but also could play a center.
All right, we already know when center comes.
Just get him.
Boston.
True.
It's Boston.
Yeah.
When it comes to centers.
Another right shot demon that could be available for cheap, not cheap in terms of trade package, but cap hit wise cheap is $2.65 million. Sean Walker.
Yeah.
From Philly.
That's crazy.
So it's just weird
Philly,
because Philly could still sell.
Yeah, Philly
because he's a pending UFA.
Yeah.
Philly's in a win-win situation.
They are.
Yeah, that doesn't matter to them. Number 5. This may be a team. He has a full no trade clause. Pending UFA at $5 million. Vladimir Tarasenko. Now, I've heard Canucks fans say like he's not the greatest defenseman. He might not be a talk-it guy, so that might be tough. And we saw that what happened with Kuzmenko. I would have said Canucks otherwise to maybe play with the Pedersen. But the problem is this isn't the Tarasenko from St. Louis.
It's not. It's definitely not. We saw that with the Rangers, and we're seeing that with the Senators as well. Yeah, I mean, you could always take a chance on him. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, he's definitely not the same. That is for sure.
Number 6 is our first goalie on this list, Jake Allen. He has a 7-team no trade list, 3-team list in the following year. He wasn't obviously one of the names. Like obviously we all know goalies: Edmonton, Toronto, New Jersey, LA, Carolina. Right?
Yeah.
Those are the 5 you could say on the top of your head.
Yeah, he's not gonna make any of them better.
That's my thought too.
Yeah, it's gonna be the same level basically.
Let's talk about goalies here as a whole, right here. He's perfect time to pause.
Jake Allen's a backup anyway. How many do we have on the list anyways?
I'll quickly go through some. These are the big ones I went through early. There's 20.
Okay, we'll just cap it at 10.
No, I'll still skip through some of them to see. But goalie wise, because the goalies might come later, and we already talked about Guenzal, right? So goalie wise, the name that has been coming up a lot is UC Saros. I'll scroll through to see if he's on this list.
Bro, he's ahead of Jake Allen, so he's not on the list.
No, but like Gensel's behind Allen.
Bro, there's no.
That's what I'm saying. The thing with UC Saros is a situation is because they have a good young goalie.
Yeah, I know. That's true. But if UC Saros is below Jake Allen.
Well, Frank Vetrano's out of the top 10, so that's why. I'll skim through it.
That's a pretty disappointing list.
Yeah, so back to this thing. UC Saros is heavily linked to the Kings. Of course, makes them better. Jacob Markstrom is heavily linked to the Devils at the moment. Maybe they could do a package deal with a Tanev or a Hannafin. Who knows? They have some young pieces they could get rid of, and Calgary should be calling for that, right? Again, I don't think Jake Allen makes them better. Here's the thing. No goalie trade midseason has led to a cup win, right? We saw it with Ryan Miller when he went to St. Louis, I believe, before he joined the Canucks. We saw it with just recently Marc-Andre Fleury.
Yeah,
right before he signed the extension. At the time, was a rental. Markstrom won't be a rental. By the way, the last goalie to be traded with term, guess who? If you were to take a guess.
Schneider?
No, it's the guy who got traded from Markstrom, the original time.
Adilak? Or no.
Luongo. So he was the last goalie with term that got traded mid-season.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, like goalie-wise, it's always gonna be tough. But again, if I'm one of those 5 teams I mentioned, and not for Allen, not for Jake Allen, I'm gonna make that clear. But for Markstrom, for Soros, and I don't know.
You do it for those two.
If there's another goalie, I keep forgetting. Maybe Merzlikins, you do it.
He's okay, yeah.
Okay, number 7, Jake Guenzal. We already talked about him. Number 8 is Scott Laughton. I got again from Philly. I've always seen his name mentioned a lot. Number 9, Alexander Carrier, right shot demon from Nashville. Number 10, welcome back on the list, Jacob Chychrun. Everybody, we thought
it's Ottawa. It is Ottawa, right?
Jacob Chychrun, wherever, I think again, any of those teams need to call him because I feel like again he signed through 2024, 2025 on a cheap deal.
Yeah, right. They got cheap.
Like if I'm the Canucks, I would honestly look at this in the off season. But yeah, Jacob Chychrun, obviously, like you said, Ottawa. Some stuff happens there that they just drop off.
I
thought Chychrun was a perfect fit there when he first got traded.
I don't think he's getting traded though.
11, we have to talk about him. Frank Vatrano, All-Star.
Oh yeah, he's been.
Canucks are completely out on him. Let's just make that clear.
I was like, centers when you look at it, obviously Lindholm you have it now, right? But Vatrano's one of the guys I would have loved to have. He's been good in Anaheim, right? And it's hard to be good in Anaheim because nothing's going good in Anaheim right now.
Yeah.
So that's also obviously a bonus. He's middle 6 center. Canucks could use a center depth. Obviously, they're one of the teams that could use a center depth as well because realistically, after Miller and Pedersen, it hasn't, like, on paper is not the best, right? Like, obviously, Blueger's done incredible. Then Niels Almond and whoever Lafferty plays in the middle, whoever it is, they done good too for their roles. But like, if you're looking at a guy to fill in the middle 6, Vatrano will be perfect.
So here's the rest of the. Now I'm not gonna name every single player, but some names that caught my eye that would add pieces like to the Canucks depth winger wise. Like, I'm not saying we should be with PD or not, but Jordan Eberle is one. Joel Edmondson, Marc-Andre Fleury is on this list as well. Pavel Buchnevich is a big one I've kept seeing.
Yeah, Buchnevich.
Anthony Duclair.
Yeah, he's a shark. It's definitely. That's probably the.
I wouldn't mind taking a gamble.
If I had one guarantee from the beginning of the year, is that Anthony Duclair
was going to get traded.
will be available.
I will honestly take a risk on this guy.
I would.
He's 28. He's a pending UFA.
He did pretty decent with the Flyers last year in the playoffs.
Yeah,
like he was okay.
Flyers.
I mean the Panthers.
Yeah.
Right. He was pretty decent.
Yeah.
And it's definitely a guy you could. It's gonna work, right? In the fact that, like, it's not gonna be the biggest deal, right? He could always plug in a hole. Is he gonna be incredible? No, I'm not saying that, but he will definitely, fill in something well.
Yeah, no, I feel like you give him a guy like, hopefully PD gets going himself.
You give him something good, yeah. He could.
Like, he's a guy that if Guenzal's not available, I could see Edmonton going after him.
Yeah, that's a good.
And he will. I mean, McDavid makes everyone better. So
yeah, for sure.
Okay, let's get off the trade topic, but let's talk about the people who make trades. Let's talk about a GM that got fired by the name of Jarmo Kekäläinen after 12 seasons as the Blue Jackets GM.
That's crazy. He lasted 12 years.
Some people were surprised he was still was able to continue after the whole Mike Babcock debacle that happened at the earlier season. Obviously, 12 years. Columbus hasn't done shit. They've always been in drama. They've been very
bad.
Not delusional. Not delusional. Dysfunctional? Dysfunctional is the word. Yeah. So, yeah. Am I surprised he lasted this long? Yes. Am I surprised he even survived the Babcock situation? Yes. I guess he made good draft picks, right? Cole Sillinger, Kenton Johnson. Obviously, Fantilli fell to him, but then it would have been Carlson otherwise. Right? And there's some other Russians on their team that have done well. Their problem has been development. They got Johnny Gaudreau, right? No one thought Johnny Gaudreau. Everybody thought that was the change of things.
Imagine the scenes in Columbus, right? If they were actually functional and managed to keep, Panarin, Bobrovsky, and then you add in a Gaudreau, and you have some of these young guys.
The fact that Gaudreau signed there was massive.
It's crazy, news. Right? Like, this Columbus team could be completely different if it was just run.
We thought they were going to be.
If it was run properly, you could have a team led by Gaudreau and Panarin on their
We
squad right
thought they were gonna fight for the wild card spot. I'm not saying that's where we predicted them finishing.
But I'm just saying, like, even the years past, like, this team under Jarmo Kekäläinen had one of the biggest upsets in NHL history, beating that Tampa Bay team and sweeping them.
So that year,
they had good players too.
He did the classic, I'm going to keep my guys, so he didn't trade Panarin and Bobrovsky. Instead, made splashes for Matt Duchene and Ryan Dzingel that year. Obviously did not pan out.
So, like,
he had the biggest moment. He swept the number 1 seed
but what was it worth?
But that's it.
The cost was...
I think this was after that, too.
Bro.
This was after that.
No, the thing is, it was that off season, right? So they beat them, and then they lost Panarin and Bobrovsky.
Yeah. So I don't think they beat them that year. That was the bubble year. It was the year before that they did it.
Yeah, no, but I'm saying it was not...
In general, hey, like, okay.
I was saying this. They swept them.
Yeah.
And then in the off season, when they swept them, they lost them. That it happened in the same...
No, it wasn't the same?
Yeah, it happened the same time.
I thought it was after the bubble.
No. Was it not?
I thought it was after the bubble. Like when they made the playoffs in the bubble or playing playoffs.
Was it then?
I thought it was after.
Whatever.
That.
They lost him for free.
Yeah.
I've been pissed.
I could be wrong. You could be right.
They lost him for free. You lost Panarin and Bobrovsky for free. How do you do that?
And then this season you added Damon Severson and Ivan Provorov.
Oh, Severson was the right? No,
I said Severson before.
You said Severson. Who was that other guy, man?
Ryan Graves.
Yeah.
It was Graves. Yeah. Anyways, that was Devils. But yeah, and then like on top of that, you added Johnny Gaudreau. He chose you, which is weird. First of all,
I don't know why.
But again, he hasn't been looking the same. He's a guy that could just be on a trade block and might find his form with any other team in the future. Again, tough to trade him. You have to retain at least 50%. But again, you had some highs, right? You beat the best team in hockey, and you swept them, right? And then yes, but the problem with you guys is you drafted well. Your development program hasn't been the greatest.
Yeah,
that's the problem here.
Like in his tenure, there's been so many talented players.
Ups and downs too. Yeah,
there've been so many talented players, and if they just had it figured out a little bit.
Even right now, Patrick Laine, I know he's on like his absence right now, which is rightfully so. If he has some mental health issues, I don't know why some people were questioning that of him, but yeah, like Johnny Gaudreau, Patrick Laine, and you added these two defensemen.
You had Pierre-Luc Dubois in the past. You had Panarin. You had Duchene. You had Dzingel. You had
Pierre-Luc Dubois was drafted
by them, right? Yeah, so you had him at the end of the day. You had Bobrovsky, you had Korpisalo, you had Merzlikins.
Yeah, so
you had a lot of talent on this team. It would just spread out.
So now let's see who they hire, because I think so the reason why people were confused the timing. I was not confused by the timing, and listening to Halford and Bruff and all that, it confirmed it. Trade deadline's coming up. We just talked about trades. They probably did not want him to go all in again.
Imagine the scene.
Even though they were last place.
Or this guy goes all in.
They did not want him to do...
Trades Kent Johnson for freaking Chris Tanev.
Yeah. I think it's John Davidson, who, president of Hockey Ops, will be currently overlooking all that, which is fair. I think they need to sell. If they could... I'm not saying they're trading Johnny Gaudreau now, but if they have selling pieces on their roster right now, I'm not sure. I haven't looked at the roster at the moment with contracts.
Obviously, Merzlikins the one.
Yeah, but outside of him, like out of the forwards and the defensemen, I don't know who's available, who's pending UFA or 1 or 2 years. Again, they should just go all out and sell. Find a development team. Once you get your GM, unfortunately, their coach might be gone as well because that was a literally last minute filler as well. Not saying he doesn't deserve it, but clearly his auditioning is not going well.
It's not a good addition for sure.
Exactly. So again, Kekäläinen, I'm not saying he did great because the Columbus Blue Jackets haven't done much outside of that Tampa series.
But there were a lot of missed opportunities.
There were many missed opportunities. The fact that you got people, whether it be through trade and one guy who was coming off a Hart caliber year in Johnny Gaudreau, and you couldn't do much with it. So yeah, they got to fix a lot of their dysfunction, and if they have a lot of good young guys, let's see what they could do with them. Yeah, that's the big question. Sure. Last but not least, let's close it out on a positive note for the Punjabi boys, Punjabi culture. Everyone from Surrey, BC specifically as well. Arshdeep Bains was called up by the Vancouver Canucks. They sent down Jet Wu to make space. It's probably coming up after the Dakota Joshua injury, who's now week to week. The other factor is obviously him coming off the All-Star MVP performance, obviously being the best player on the AHL Abbotsford Canucks. Rick Tocchet on a press conference said we want to give him an opportunity to come up, not play maybe, but at least practice with the guys and see what happens. So obviously that alone is a big deal.
Honestly, like experience a level, the NHL pace. Right. He hasn't done that realistically
outside of like preseason.
Outside preseason.
Yeah.
So it's obviously a good opportunity for him. Potential of playing, we would never know. Yeah, so can he crack the lineup?
So he took the warm ups. He soaked it all in. Obviously wearing number 80. Stood on the ice. Obviously, unfortunately, did not get to play. But he's obviously on the road to Minnesota now. It would have been a good day for him to play because it was home, his hometown. But if they lost, a guy like PDG could come out. A guy, whoever else could come out, and he could fill in that role. Let's see what role he gets and how he plays. But to your point, it could be all just about the experience. But at the end of the day, it's a big deal. It's a call up. He would. If he had played, I'm sure he would have been the fourth Indian descent, right? Robin Bawa, Jujhar Khaira, Manny Malhotra are the three that come in my head immediately. I know, again, he's not in the best of in the news right now, but Rob Rai was drafted by the Canucks, did not play. Obviously, you don't need to go further about his legal situation. So let's see what Arshdeep Bains does. Obviously, he's a guy that was the leading scorer in the WHL. That had Connor Bedard in it, by the way. Just keep that in mind.
That's crazy.
I think he was leading scorer at that point, at that 1 year before he officially signed with the Canucks. And then now, obviously, not everybody. For example, your boy Tyler Mott was a leading scorer, but it doesn't translate to the NHL. You have to find your role because every one of these players, I'm sure, has led at every level they have played in the juniors. Right? We all know this in any sport.
We all know it. That's how they make it.
But no, for us, just being Punjabi boys, being from Surrey, huge shout out Arshdeep Bains. Hopefully you get the opportunity to play. And not just Arshdeep Bains. Let's talk about the other Punjabi guys that we have, not just in Surrey, but just even in general, that we should give a shout out to. Again, we've given him a shout out many times, but Jeevan Badwal, once again, our cousin, making the Surrey name, the Punjabi name proud. Obviously was called up similar to Arshdeep for the Whitecaps. First leg of the Champions League, or the Champions Cup, which they unfortunately got eliminated in the second leg. Obviously, he got the call-up experience, got to train with the first team. That's another guy. We have guys like Rav Randava, who's killing it right now in the prep school, and let's see what college he goes to. Young guy for college. For basketball, Sokjot Bains, guy who I graduated with. Playing professional in Sweden, played Div 1 at Green Bay, University of Green Bay, Wisconsin. Over there, the Green Bay Phoenix. My friend Parm Bains also killed it in the basketball scene. UFVs was one of the top scorers there. Let's flip over. Let's go to the boxing side of things. Buneet Bisla, his brother Gavin Bisla, Harkirat Nidger, killing it right now. Right, they have fights coming up. Obviously, I've talked to them. I went to that fight that I said, the Bisla fight night in December, was insane. Got to see them in person. Inder Bisla doing a great job. Their dad running the gym and training them. I could keep going. Like there's female girls. I know Saya Mongit, obviously Jasmine Mander with the Canada soccer team as a coach. There's sports. Obviously, baseball hasn't been much. I know Samrat Singh was on Boston College a couple of years ago. Obviously, I wish I could reach out to him somehow to come on the pod. And there's many more. Right? The whole point is there's so much talent. We have field hockey talent everywhere here as well. There's a lot of talent in the Punjabi community. We've talked with it to all of our guests that were Punjabi that we had on about the talent in Surrey, the talent in the Punjabi culture. So we're there. I'm glad that people are putting the time into the craft and it's being shown.
Yeah, for sure.
That's the big thing. And it just makes us proud.
The thing is this, right? Yeah, obviously we're proud and everything, but like we just have all this talent.
And I'm sure I forgot shout out.
We forgot people for sure. But they have all this talent. We have all this, people are actually working their asses off, right? And all it just takes one person to do it. And we never had that one, right? That really yes, Jujhar Khaira played in there, but like was Jujhar Khaira, one of the best
at least
hockey players?
He's still playing.
Yeah, no, but I'm just saying, like, if we could just get that one person in that, like, is in that level, like clear NHL level, clear
Oh,
NBA
he is.
level.
He is. I'm not gonna
Like
this year, not because he had many concussion injuries.
The thing I'm talking about, like, being that guy, like being one of the better players, right? And
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be tough for
like,
Arshdeep to do that now as well.
Yeah, I know.
But at least getting into the league and making
Getting
a
into
name.
the league, yeah,
And
no,
huge
I'm
shout
not
out to
taking, I'm not taking any credit for that. Yeah,
I know you're not.
But I'm just saying, like, imagine if we're like,
Imagine someone does that.
we have a face.
Yeah,
of
I
the
know
league.
exactly what you're saying.
Yeah.
But let's just go with the facts right now. Jujhar Khaira did
It's incredible.
amazing.
Yeah.
He was obviously playing with Edmonton all those years. There's a reason why, he was a fourth line center, third line center, penalty
He
killer.
played his role incredible.
Yeah. So, like I said, shout out to all these guys. Like, for us, we're very lucky that we have not a guy in the scene, but we have a guy we know personally, as close as we are with Jeevan, to see as well and firsthand. And obviously, talking to him, how much talent he was around when he played growing up as well. We see it in Newton Park all the time or wherever we play. So, yeah, basketball-wise, I said that. Hockey, we covered. Soccer, we covered.
Boxing, we covered.
Football, there's guys like Sok Chung in the CFL.
The BC Lions, yeah.
So Hora brothers, Jesse and Pola, wrestling, kabaddi, right?
Yeah.
Killing it there. But yeah, so shout out to all you guys. I know I forgetting a bunch of you guys, people. I know the girl side of things, like I said, Jasmine Mander, Saya Mangat is killing it. I know there's a lot of other girls that are killing it in the basketball scene at the moment as well. So yeah, we're just, hopefully we could carry this on, and hopefully us two as a podcast will continue to shine your light on you guys. Every time we see someone, we're gonna do it, because that's the most we could do, because we're not gonna get our asses on the field or anything.
Yeah, we're not making anything.
But
yeah, anytime soon is never.
So yeah,
there's no anytime soon.
True. But shout out once again to everybody, and hopefully best of luck and keep killing it. And hopefully one day we could get you guys on the pod and talk to you guys in person as well. But moving on, let's get right into the NBA All-Star reaction. You want to start off with the game and how it's the classic game, or do you want to go into the skills competition?
We'll start off with, like, the worst part of the weekend, which is the game.
I think it's a non-contest, but
well, not for me. Reason being, the game, obviously,
at least some history happened.
History happened, but the issue is, it's not even a fun game, right? Yeah, scoring all these points, whatever. It wasn't even close.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it's already boring when it's back and forth. The fact that it was a blowout made it even worse. Yeah, don't be wrong. Credit to the Eastern players.
At least have it close going to the fourth, that we could see some type of close.
Back and forth something, right? But, like, credit to the Eastern players. 203 or 211 points, I mean.
Yeah.
Obviously first time hitting
Cat
200 points.
50.
Cat got 50, right? Like, you get credit to that, but, like, play some defense.
I can't say, like, they went back to the East and West. It wasn't going to change anything. I still think the playground rules were the best way to do it. Unfortunately, it probably, what's the word? Like, went stagnant, I guess.
Yeah.
That's the best way I could put it. Maybe go back to it. The captain stuff, I think he should have kept that still. I think that at least made some part of it entertaining. Yeah, maybe the game itself wasn't entertaining. Like last year, that was the best part of the weekend, essentially. Where they did the whole captains and they picked their team. Yeah, game-wise, again, it was just background noise for me. Scott Van Pelt said it perfectly. I saw his tweet. If you guys don't care, why should we care? Exactly.
Fair, yeah.
We need to have a setting where all the stars are together, right? We wish to get invited one day in the future once this thing gets going, the podcast gets going, and we could do something with this. And hopefully we get invited to any All-Star event, not just the NBA, NHL, NFL, MLB, all that. We still want to be part of that. Yes, Kobe said it, that it used to be competitive. It isn't anymore. We need to owe the fans to play the greatest pickup basketball in history. And we saw that in 2020.
We did. We
really did. The rules and all that worked. Unfortunately, obviously, it came after Kobe passed, and we couldn't see it in person. But at least he would be like, that's what we need to see. Everyone said that. Oscar Robertson looked disgusted, I think. There was another guy, I forgot who it was. Larry Bird was saying that it needs to be competitive. Unfortunately, the players don't care as much. I understand they don't want to get injured, but at least, D up a little bit.
Suck it up.
We saw you guys do it once.
Suck it up.
It is for charity. It's not like we can't say...
You're not playing for nothing at the end. You're playing for something, right? You're playing for a good cause.
Again, we saw 2 years of those pickup basketball rules where it worked perfectly. The year Steph went off for 3, and the first year when Kawhi won MVP, right? And everything was perfect with that. You picked your roster. I mean,
it doesn't matter, man. Like, no matter what format you use, It's on the players. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter what format you use. All right, you could do 1v1s. Doesn't matter.
You can
It's
still
on
have
the
fun
players.
with it, but at least make it close enough and
Try.
go with
You're
it.
not trying. That's the thing. So we don't care. As simple as that. All right,
Yeah.
let's move on to the skills.
Okay, let's stay negative. Let's just stick with the negative and get it over with.
All right, dunk contest.
It's done. They need to get it out of the main event. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
If I were in the arena,
Everything went wrong with the dunk contest.
the judges were horrendous.
The judges were terrible. Like Mac McClung got me excited.
Yeah.
I'm giving credit to Mac McClung. He did well. He did good.
It's like
He did good. Was
But
it
the
was
prob-
it
but
was it
here's-
compared to what it was last year? No, don't get me wrong.
But here's the problem. He's not even in the NBA.
Yeah, as well.
He's on the G League.
I know, but I'm evaluating the contest,
Yeah.
right? Mac McClung was clear winner. Mac McClung clearly had the best
Yeah.
dunks. He got me like we got both of us like wow.
Yeah. Some of yeah.
Yeah,
a couple of
we
them
got
were like,
wow.
yeah.
We stood up. You know,
I
we
didn't
got,
stand up. I was just like,
you're lying down. You're not gonna be able to stand up.
No, I know, but like I
Yeah,
would
no.
have screamed if something crazy happened.
Wow, you're pessimistic.
No, I was like, I would have like it
Bro,
was
you got excited when he did that little double weird.
that one. Yeah,
I don't even know.
The one
Yeah.
or two of them I was fine with. The rest of them, like, okay, it was better than the rest, for sure.
Yeah, no, but
I'm not
like that's
disagreeing
the
with that
same
part.
as like Gordon obviously is gonna have 2 dunks.
Yeah.
Like Levine always had 2 dunks in the competition. You only
Listen,
need 2 dunks.
Levine and Gordon.
I know we're not comparing them, yeah, but like Mac McClung did well.
Yeah, he did well. I'm not
He
discrediting
did
that.
good. Everything else about the contest was terrible.
Jalen
The
Brown should
judges,
not even been in the final.
the judges screwed over Mac McClung. He should have had a 50 for that dunk, or his first one, which
49 minimum.
was
At the
50.
minimum.
Yeah, no, he should have
'Cause
had
he
50.
didn't get 49.
He should have 50,
Yeah.
but yeah. And then Jalen Brown decided to dunk over a 5'5" guy
Who's sitting down?
who
Shout out Kai Cenat.
he made him sit down.
Who's sitting down?
He made him sit down, and I don't get that. I don't get that at all.
Yeah.
Jacob Toppin let his brother Obi Toppin down, and then who was the other guy? Jaime Hawkes.
Was alright.
Yeah,
He was alright.
No.
Listen, they got to switch it up because we're gonna go to the positives in a second because that 3-point contest was so good this year's. This year's 3-point contest was so good. They need to switch it up. I'm saying it right now. You can't do anything. I don't even blame the people. Listen, I don't have the stats saved, but the last All-Star to do a dunk contest, and listen, it's nothing to do with All-Star either. If you're a good dunker, get in. That's all I gotta say. Because Levine and Gordon were not All-Stars Levine was not an All-Star when he came in.
Yeah.
Right? Into that dunk contest. It was until like after he got traded to the Bulls where he made his
popped off,
name.
yeah.
Yeah. And Aaron Gordon, yeah, he could have been an All-Star this year, last year with the Nuggets, but again, one of the best role players in the game right now. Again, not an All-Star. Everybody's complaining that we don't have enough All-Stars doing this. Jalen Brown did it. Look what happened. It has nothing to do with the
You
situation.
just need the best dunkers.
The last All-Star to do it was, I think, Dwight Howard. Right back in 2012. Like, that was named an All-Star.
All right,
at
bro.
that
This is
moment.
simple as this, right? The only way the dunk contest could be a main event is if these 4 people are in.
Go. I
Levine,
was to bring that up.
Levine, Gordon, McClung, and who's the 4th guy?
I'm going one better. I didn't have any of them. Realistically, yes.
Any of them?
No, I wanted to see like actual All-Stars.
Oh,
So,
the 4th one, John Morant. That's what it
so
was.
for me,
yeah.
it was Zion Williamson, John Morant, Anthony Edwards, and sure, throw in Gordon or Levine then.
I'm just like
I
going.
said those 3 need to be in it.
Yeah, okay,
I
that's
feel
fair.
like
You're saying-
I feel like Anthony Edwards would take it seriously
Yeah, I know.
if he wanted to do it.
But if you're going the All-Star route, I'm just going on people who actually,
But those guys are also high-flying dunkers.
yeah.
Is my point.
For me,
They have star power to the name.
for me, I don't care if you're an All-Star or not. I care if you're a good dunker. Mac McClung's
Oh yeah,
a good dunker. Levine, Gordon, we've seen that incredible. We've been
I think Levine might be done now with the injury.
yeah, no, but like, but I'm just saying, in my opinion, having those 4 there's nothing better.
Yeah, but for me, it's Zion. Again, I understand injuries thing. Ja was injured this year. I get it, but Ja is saying he'll never do it unless he gets like some type of big payday, which is I don't get it. I get it, but I don't get it at the same time as a fan. Yeah, no. And realistically, do you think that's gonna happen? No.
It's not, but I'm just
So
saying.
my point is, you have to switch it up. Put that in the middle. Put the 3-point ending as the ending because that's the show now. Let's switch over because that's not time for the dunk contest. There's nothing they could do to fix it. Unfortunately, Zach LaVine and Aaron Gordon have done so much. How more creative can you get unless you add trampolines in, like I said? And there's no point of that. The whole point is to show raw, pure athleticism.
yeah,
So, yeah, unfortunately, I have nothing much to say about the dunk contest. It's going to just be bad every year unless we see actual dunkers. Unfortunately, prove me wrong. That's all I got to say. That's nothing much for me to say about the dunk contest.
yeah.
I agree with you. You need actual dunkers in. I'm fine with your list. I think you're fine with my list at the same time.
Yeah, no, but I just feel
yeah.
like I feel like my list is like the show.
But
Reason.
my list is also the show plus name brand.
You have the name brand, but my list is like they got us our receipts before.
Yes, but my point is, if you want to see someone new do it, these are the guys to do it.
Yeah, those are the guys.
Those are
to do
three,
it. Yeah.
and they're mega star power. Right
Yeah,
at the
yeah.
moment. But let's move
But
on.
like you said, All-Star sometimes don't really do good.
Exactly.
In it, so
True, but but I didn't have faith in Jaylen Brown at all. To be honest,
Yeah,
with you. These
true.
guys I have faith in. The three of these guys.
yeah.
But moving on, let's talk about the highlight of the night. Or do you want to talk about the first one, the skills challenge, or do you want to end on the 3-point?
Yeah, we'll start a skills challenge quickly.
Not bad. It was
fine. You know, it's the same as has it been. They have the
Last
team
year.
format, same
Yeah.
as last year.
I'm fine
last
with
2
it.
years. Pacers
It's better than
won.
dunk contest, so I don't care.
So I think
You were right. I was
just
wrong.
went with the home.
I
I
was
feel like it's
wrong.
rigged, man. The home team always wins.
No, I think to be fair, like they clutched up. Like Scotty, the first overall, the All-Star, Scotty, Trae Young, and Tyrese Maxey put up 90. They did better by just doing the 6-point thing. So imagine if they just did the 6-pointers, it would have been higher score. But yeah, unfortunately, that's what the case was. Yeah, it was fun. It wasn't like boring, but it wasn't like what the 3-point contest was at the end of the day.
Yeah, the 3-point contest.
Let's talk about it now. We'll talk about the actual competition, then we'll talk about the 1v1.
Yeah, so 3-point contest.
Everybody had above 20, which is I've never seen that, I think, before.
It's a shooters league. That's for sure.
Exactly.
We had 4 people tied at 26. Should have been 6 people
Could've
at
been
26.
5. At least 5 for sure.
No, it should be 6. Because Brunson missed it by 2. Markkinen missed by 1.
Yeah,
It should be 6.
Markkinen could have won it too.
And it should be 6. It should be 6.
Yeah.
They both choked. They all needed to make one shot.
Brunson especially choked.
Yeah.
He was.
He was on the last shot.
Yeah.
But yeah, you got Dame Lillard, you got Trae Young, you got Karl-Anthony Towns, and you got Tyrese Halliburton, all tied at 26 after the first round. And then
Who
obviously
missed out?
tiebreaker, Tyrese Halliburton missed out
Yeah.
at the end, leaving a Cat, Young, and Lillard final.
Yeah, I mean, Dame Lillard for me was my favorite to win it. He did it because I trusted his deep shot more. But at the same time, I saw Trae Young go. I was like, oh, I should pick Trae Young in general. Cat, obviously, once again, not surprising, but it's crazy to see just a big man shoot.
Is he the best shooting big?
He is. He's self-claimed it. The only guy I could
He's
think
living
of.
up to it.
The only guy I'm thinking of is Dirk, maybe.
Yeah.
And imagine Dirk in this era right now. Dirk's probably like, why did I get drafted so early? Because he could have been just killing it in stats right now too. But with how the big men are shooting. But no, going back to the thing, yeah, it was like you said, 4-way tie, could have been 6 ways at least. Even if let's just say Markkinen got 27, you could have. That means more pressure on the other guys as well to get in to the final round. Dame put on a show. Dame almost choked, but again, it's Dame time.
He just waited for the last
he's
shot.
probably the clutchest player I've ever seen in the NBA. Not I've ever seen.
Both rounds.
In recent memory, he's the most clutchest.
In both
player.
rounds, he waited till the last shot.
Yeah.
Right, like he messed up the final rack. He had it all set until the last shot where he needed
Speaking
it.
of Dame Lillard, he also got All-Star MVP. Just to make that, I
Oh,
forgot
yeah,
to mention
yeah,
that
yeah.
as well. But yeah, that part was all insane. It went to the wire, right? Like I said, even the final rounds
It went to the last
wire.
shot. It went to the last
It
shot.
literally went to the last shot. I
Yeah.
think they were tied, or was Carl Towns up?
No, they were tied.
So those two were tied at 24, and he got the 26 to win. I
Yeah,
think. Yeah. So like I said, like realistically, a score of 24 gets you in the final. Jalen Brunson got 24, did not get in. Lauri Markkinen got 25 and did not get in. So that shows you how well these guys performed under pressure, time, and everything. So like I said, this is the real show now. Unfortunately, like the dunk contest isn't there. But listen, the thing I just saw, it doesn't have to be male versus female, but in general, the Steph Sabrina, you know what it reminded me of? Tyson Fury versus Francis Ngannou. In a way.
Different leagues.
Different leagues. And on top of that, you go against the GOAT of that thing, right? The best at that thing, right? Listen, I'm so happy Sabrina Ionescu shot from the 3-point line. I don't know why Kenny Smith was on smoke all night long.
He's always Kenny Smith is always the
which is weird because
the
I've never
evil.
seen him be like that.
When is All-Star game, bro?
Yeah.
All-Star?
Because he was shitting on every dunk too. almost.
All-Star, he's gonna slew you, bro.
Yeah,
He's gonna,
but no, going back to the thing. Sabrina Ionescu led off 26, right?
made nine.
She would have been in the final probably.
She made 9 of her first 10 shots.
Yeah,
She got Curry stressed.
She
got Curry stressed.
She probably would have been in the final.
Yeah.
In the regular one. Yes, she used a WNBA ball, but that's fair to her. 3-point line, she said herself she wanted to do the NBA line, and she did it. Steph Curry obviously came in, was best. and he would have won the contest.
We're right. He's the best to ever do it.
But the point is, I'm so happy she performed well because I didn't want to see Twitter timeline or our cousins being like, see, this is why girls should not be competing against guys. And yes, she did lose, but she lost with grace.
Oh yeah, no.
At the end of the day,
sure.
it was fun to watch. It was
29 to
competitive.
26, I think.
Yes, it was 29 to 26. It was fun to watch. It put the WNBA, at least it showed, again, how much is it going to help their views and ratings and all that? I don't know, but at least it gave them a showcase of seeing like, hey, because Sabrina Ionescu had the record from men and women. She missed one shot, which was her first shot in the WNBA All-Star three-point contest.
3-point contest.
Right? So I think it's great. Listen, I'm proposing a tag team for next year. The Splash Brothers versus Caitlin Clark and Sabrina Ionescu. I don't know who else could shoot the lights out like that, but I know Caitlin Clark can. And, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was incredible. It was a good watch, for sure.
And, yeah, so I hope they continue. Either it be one-on-one in the future. I hope, like, if there are other females that could do that in the league, maybe Brianna Stewart comes in.
What do you think is this?
Brianna Stewart versus Kevin Durant would be the best one. Because they're very similar, too, right? Like, they're, like, idols.
The thing is this, right? Like, but at the end of the day, right? Like, it's Curry and Ionescu.
Best at it.
It's best and best, right?
Yeah.
But how repetitive it's gonna get? That's gonna be the only.
Listen,
issue.
I'm trying to do like Dame Lillard versus Curry or something like that too.
Yeah, just have a one-on-one type of thing.
Again, don't get away from what they're doing right now.
Yeah.
Still do that, but have like a main event of that.
Like a main event.
I don't mind it. Like I said, get the dunk contest.
At this
out
rate,
of
it
the
just
main
becomes
event.
a Curry versus. Like just have a segment called
like
Curry
Shaq
versus
Curry versus.
Curry versus.
But
next year is Curry versus Lillard.
Speaking of Caitlin Clark, she was supposed to be the first overall. She is going to be the first overall pick next year to the Indiana Fever. Most likely set the record beating Kelsey Plum and in NCAA points.
Yeah.
But a person who we thought was going to go second overall, unfortunately, is not. She's decided to go back to college. Is Paige Beuckers, the girl that you thought could, show the world like you forgot who I am type moment, right?
Yeah.
And maybe she's doing that because she wants to be the first overall pick herself. Fair game. Maybe she said she wants to play with her seniors one more time. She said she was also coming off an injury, right? So maybe the year after, I think she should be the first overall pick, at least as of now that I know of. But yeah, so it's a little surprising for sure because but then again, maybe she's gonna get nil money.
It's a smart choice.
Yeah,
it is a smart choice.
For females, it's probably best to go back to college because of the nil money, right?
Yeah.
I think what's her name said it best. Angel Reese said it best, right? And yeah, so let's see how it goes. But there's a potential, which I don't think will happen because I think Aaliyah Boston was insane in her rookie year. I hope Caitlin Clark does what she does in Indiana in her rookie year. But imagine if they shit the bed again or they trade for the first overall pick and you combine the greatest trio in WNBA history probably.
Bro,
if Paige Beuckers ends up there, it'll be insane.
If Paige Beuckers ends up there.
Maybe Paige doesn't want that just because she probably wants her own.
She wants her own,
shine.
yeah, but like you have the two guards and your center.
/ forward, yeah.
It's over. It should be over.
Speaking of some WNBA, NBA, couple of changes happened. Nneka Ogwumike is now a Seattle Storm. Skylar Diggins-Smith is gone as well. I think she got traded. Let me double check. But Kia Nurse, Canadian, as well, is gone to LA Sparks.
Yeah.
So they're kind of like on a rebuild type thing. Skylar Diggins-Smith is now also a Seattle Storm, so it looks like they're trying to do a resurgence after Sue Bird and Brianna Stewart. And obviously, we know who the best two teams are going to be next year. We already know who the final is.
We already know the final is.
We should know who the final is, but we'll see how that
we
goes.
We know who it is.
Indiana Fever are making it.
No.
No, I'm kidding. But Indiana, though, hey, Indiana kind of has a slight soft spot in our hearts just because of the Colts. / it kind of sounds like India. But but no, like they have now most likely Caitlin Clark, Aaliyah Boston. You got Anthony Richardson and Jonathan Taylor. Hopefully Michael Pittman Jr. You got Tyrese Halliburton. Right now you have Siakam and see what happens with that, right? Am I missing anything?
No, I think that's it. They don't have a hockey team. Yeah,
so like they have some up and coming guys and girls that are gonna kill it. So it's a great for that state, a small town team. Sorry. Usually.
Yeah, you have a young squad. You have a young studs.
Yeah, so
we'll
see.
Across your teams.
Yeah, so we'll see how that goes. But let's move on. Let's talk about the MVP race. We were going to talk about it last time, but we didn't have much time. Let's talk about it now. We already know who's in the race. Honestly, whoever wins out of these people, I won't be mad. unfortunately, our pick was Embiid. He's out of the race completely now. So Jokic, I think, on the big board is right now number 1. Shea is number 2. Giannis is number 3. Luka's number 4. And I think it's Tatum at 5. Now, the one thing I do disagree with is I think 80 for, I don't know which one it was on, was number 10. It can't happen because he's literally the 9th seed. Unless the Lakers make us.
I mean, you could be
push.
number 10.
No, I disagree with it. I'm the Laker fan here.
Man,
They're the
he's
9th seed.
incredible.
They're in a play-in spot. I can't put them on there. I know
Uh,
Luka's there, but Luka's could get out of it within one game.
Yeah.
That's why. Like I'm a Laker fan saying
But
that.
if you're saying, like, if it's impact player, right? Without AD, you guys are not in the play-in spot.
Yeah, but you can say that with a lot of players.
Huh?
You can say that with a lot of players. Remember when Edmonton did not make the playoffs and we're like, well, McDavid should still be MVP because it would suck, and he had all the stats and everything? It's similar to this then.
Yeah.
So no, I
but
disagree
McDavid
with
was
that
still in the conversation at the end.
because Steph Curry wasn't on the list. I think at all.
Yeah, no, I think AD's been better than Steph Curry this year. I do believe that. Like, Anthony Davis is having a better year than Steph Curry.
Yeah, I mean fair, but again, I have other.
We've seen Steph
I would rather
struggle.
I would have Fox or Sabonis ahead. In general,
Yeah, that's
right?
fair,
So
yeah.
that's what I'm saying. I don't think he should be the 10th guy.
But yeah.
I agree with you. Like if the Lakers were even in a 6th seed, he could have been top 5.
But nobody gives a shit about 10. We would give a shit
Yeah.
about 1.
So here's the thing:
Number 1.
who's your MVP if you were to vote for it right now?
I said Embiid was 1.
Okay, take
Shea was 2.
So okay, you're gonna go with the same pick I have, I guess.
Yes. So, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander is my
At
MVP.
this moment.
If Embiid wasn't allowed, which he's not.
Listen,
Like, I'm making this clear. Joel Embiid is the MVP, but he's not allowed to be.
yeah,
Shea Gilgeous-Alexander is number 2. He's going to be number 1. He has to be. Reason being, it's not just us. It's a lot of players in the league are giving him credit too.
yeah. In All-Star, he was asked
there's-
a lot about who's the more underrated guy or who could be the next face
Yeah,
once the old guys drop.
exactly. And then OKC are incredible. Right? They weren't supposed to be this good. 6th seed at best, we thought.
Yeah.
No, they're like, nah, we're going for 1 seed. Big reason why? Shea Gilgeous-Alexander.
Exactly.
And he's not the only reason, but he's the biggest reason. And
Yeah.
MVPs, a lot of people focus on like impact player. You take Shea out of that team's barely in the plan.
Yeah, so here's my
There's a big fall off.
Here's my argument for Shea winning it. Again, if I'm projecting, I don't think OKC will finish top 2. I think they'll drop to like maybe 4. Kawhi's in the top 5. I don't know if it was Tatum. I think it was Kawhi who would have been 5, which is fair as well. Excuse me. My arguments are similar to you. Take Shea out. Who's their next guy? Chet's still young. I know how good J-Dub is doing. I know there are probably some games where Shea didn't play, I think. Maybe, and they probably won or whatever. You take Jokic out. I'm not saying you take Jokic out, you're going to guarantee to win games.
they're
At least
drop
you have
two.
a guy and continuity with Jamal Murray.
No, okay, no. That's not the argument.
That's
For
my
Jokic.
argument. That's part of my argument.
It could be part of it, but that's wrong.
Yeah.
The
Yeah, no,
main
it's
argument
fine.
the main argument is this.
They're the higher seed.
They're expected to do good,
Yeah.
right? Whereas obviously they're good because of Jokic. You take Jokic out, they're falling.
Yeah.
They're 100% falling. You can't say they're not because you can't say
Yeah,
they're
they'll
because they didn't continue. They're gonna fall. The thing is this. Jokic has been doing that with this Nuggets team for so many years now. Shea has propelled this OKC team, whereas Jokic has been level, right?
Yeah.
Jokic is doing what Jokic has been doing. Shea took that step. Shea is carrying this team. A big part of this reason that this team took a massive jump. That's the argument.
Yeah,
Right?
I agree. Everything you said there.
Like that's
I'm
the
saying
argument.
also.
yeah.
I'm saying if you're saying take Shea out, that argument, at least you have a
Yeah,
guy
I don't
like
think
Jamal
that's
Murray.
I don't think that's fair because I think they're both falling off.
Yeah, no, I
Yeah.
get that, but I think OKC drops off more. Is my point.
I don't think so.
Because
I think it's
the continuity.
I think
and
it's a
the
similar
coaching and
level.
stuff that-
I think it's a similar level of drop off.
You were the guy who was arguing Jamal Murray was a number 1 in this league in the offseason. After
You
that,
play like it. You play like it.
playoffs, not regular season.
Playoffs
right?
is what matters. That's
yeah.
all.
So, but my point now is like, where's that argument then? That's
Because
and
what it
in that
matters
case,
in the playoffs.
huh?
What matters in the playoffs. That's what the argument was. That.
Yeah. Okay, but that's fine. And also, we're not gonna relive that.
I know,
argument.
but at the end of the day,
again,
Murray
you
turns
guys
up.
go watch that video. We have a video. out on
Murray
it.
turns up when it matters most.
Yeah, but
that
I'm
was the
saying-
argument.
My point is though, if Jokic is out, Murray will turn up now most likely too, right? And again, I'm not discrediting Jokic. Jokic is a two-time reigning MVP, two-time MVP before. He could have won it last year. He won the Finals MVP again, right? Obviously, Jamal Murray had to do a lot with that, but he had Jokic to help. That's the thing. That's what propelled Jamal Murray as well. Also propelled Jokic. Sure, you listen to the argument. You guys could decide on that factor. But yeah, no. To your point though, yeah, like you said, 6th seed at best, maybe even playing. He's taking that jump. He's taking that leadership role. I think he should be the MVP as well, for that reason, right? Listen, but I won't be mad. Like, I'm looking at Giannis's numbers, and it's not Giannis's fault that his team's doing this bad because he's doing everything. I won't be mad if Jokic wins. I won't be mad if Shea wins. I won't be mad if Giannis wins, right? I won't be mad if Luka wins. I think Luka heavily deserves it. I think he just doesn't get talked about a lot for MVP for whatever reason. I don't know. They hold different expectations from him. The one thing I'm gonna hate with like fandom and all that is that with Shea, it's gonna be like, oh yeah, you're like whatever Shea does is like, oh yeah, this, like, you know how like the Gordon Ramsay meme, oh, to the kid he was like nice, but to the adults like, you fucking donkey.
Yeah,
I feel like that's the Shea and Luka thing right now. I still think Luka's a better player overall right now. Like I said, I think Shea will become a superstar for sure this playoff run. Maybe this playoff run, because they should make the playoffs, hopefully, and for sure next year if they make the playoffs, right? But yeah, but overall though, if we're talking at this point at February 18, 2024 at 10:30 p.m., right, exactly this moment, Shea should be MVP because they're the 2nd seed. They had no business being the 2nd seed.
It's 10:31.
Okay, they have no business being the 2nd seed. Heck, even Donovan Mitchell has a shout. They're 2nd seed in the East. I know they're 6 games back, right? I won't be mad if he somehow wins MVP. But to me, it's Shea Gilgeous-Alexander because Cleveland had higher expectations at least. The OKC Thunder did not. Who's the leader? Shea, who was the all-star starter. Shea, everything was well-deserved. And let's just see if he continues this on. But at this moment, I believe Shea Gilgeous-Alexander is the MVP. But that being said, I'm not upset. I'm not like how people get upset with the snubs and all that.
For
I will not be upset if some other people have Jokic. If a third person was sitting beside you right there and he said Jokic, fair.
It's fair.
I'm not arguing against Jokic for not getting MVP because the points that person might make is the same. If a person's sitting here and he says it's Luka, same thing, right? So
there's Pelos over there.
I know, but I'm just saying if there's someone sitting here. But to us, I guess we agree on this. It should be Shea.
Yeah, we agree.
But there's no like, as long as it's not someone out of left field that gets.
There's no point of continuing this conversation because it's Shea.
Okay. For us, yes, it's Shea. It's Shea.
Yeah.
But we'll see how it goes. Right now, Jokic is big board number 1. So.
Yeah, that's fair too.
Okay. Buyouts very quickly. A couple of them happening. DeLon Wright is getting bought out, and he's gonna sign a contract with the Heat. And another buyout, which is Danilo Gallinari. He was between the Clippers and the Bucks. He ended up choosing the Bucks. For the Bucks, I guess he won't help with the defense. He'll help with the stretch ability in the shooting. Yeah, I remember him with OKC had a good push there. Unfortunately, with the Hawks, he was okay, but then he got injured with the Celtics, so that's what caused him not to play for them. But let's see what he does with the Bucks. Again, you're gonna have opportunities if you're on the court playing with Giannis and Dame Lillard at all costs.
Yeah.
Right. That's that one. There's the Hall of Fame finalists also have been announced from the player side of things that we know. We should give a shout out to all these guys. Simone Augustus, don't know. She's an ex-WNBA star. Dick Barnett, Chauncey Billups, Vince Carter, Michael Cooper, Walter Davis, Michelle or Timms. Coaches Bo Ryan, Harley Ridwin, Charles Smith, Doug Collins, coach/broadcaster, executive, probably should get in, Jerry West, and Herb Simon as an owner. It will be announced on April 6th. So at the moment, I don't know who the carryovers are yet. We'll talk about it more when I guess this comes close to being announced. But for first ballot, where do you have Chauncey and Vince Carter?
I think they're both first ballot.
Okay, I think all these guys are in consideration because Michael Cooper retired a long time ago. Yeah, because he was a Laker.
Out of all those players, I think Vince.
I don't know if.
I don't know. I don't know apart from Vince and Chauncey anyway, so I can't comment.
I don't know if Chauncey's first ballot. I'm gonna make that clear. I don't know if that's first ballot. Vince, yes, I think he is.
Chauncey's won too, right? Chauncey won one.
Yeah, that Pistons team.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think the competition around them just, to to me, Chauncey and Vince are the highlights of the class. And I think they're
But
going to
then
be first
the
ballot.
old head's gonna be like Michael Cooper, because Magic is obviously going after him.
Yeah.
But because here's the thing with
Is
Vince,
Michael Cooper first ballot? No.
he's this is what's throwing
If
me
he was
off.
retired a long time ago, how was he?
Maybe he was not he wasn't balloted. Maybe that's the thing.
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know how that works fully.
Yeah, his rules. But yeah, congratulations to you guys.
But
Finalists. It's a big
let's
deal.
talk about Vince very quickly.
Vince is in.
Like first ballot,
I think so, man. Man played 20 years.
22, I think.
He's played a long time. Done a lot. Obviously, we've seen dunk contests. He's the reason why Toronto exists. Raptors organization exists.
Yeah,
So, what hasn't he done other than win it all?
because these are just the 14 finalists. I'm not sure if they're considered first ballot or not. So,
Yeah, no, but
So don't.
we'll talk more Hall of Fame when we get close to it too.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're just sharing the finalists right now, and congrats to all these guys. You know, at the end of the day, it's gonna be well deserved.
Yeah. Okay, that's it for the NBA, right?
That's it. Yeah.
That's it. Let's talk about the next big topic that happened. UFC 298 has concluded, and we have officially have marked the end of an era of when we started UFC of all these champions. We started off with Kamaru Usman losing. We started next off. Izzy lost, won, and then ended up losing again. And your boy is now on that list, off the featherweight division to be exact, because he did lose 2 lightweight matches. But he lost Alexander Volkanovski second round knockout to Ilia Topuria in UFC 298's main event, and this is his second straight knockout, which was like a devastating knockout as well. Your thoughts?
He
I ended up rewatching the fight because we had to miss it.
He messed up. He messed up.
Now I have to agree with you.
He really messed up, and I told you it was going to happen, and it did happen, right? That this wasn't a good decision, and the results of the Makhachev fight, I think we're still in effect in this.
Yeah.
It came back too soon, and I think Volkanovski should have been a 300 one. Like this fight should have been a 300, but Volkanovski I think came back a little bit too soon. I have nothing. Give credit to Topuria. He's undefeated. Nick Baldwin said he's a stud.
Nick Baldwin got it right.
Nick Baldwin got it right as well. Predicted right in the score article, yes. And Topuria was incredible. He fought hard, knocked him out. Right. All credit to Volk. He's obviously the great, definitely
one of the greatest of all time.
Yeah, for sure.
Hall of Famer, lock,
and
first ballot, whatever.
like he's those he's those champions. Like if he wants the rematch, he should get it, type of thing.
But I think he needs to rest a bit.
But he needs to
Holy
rest.
shit, he needs to rest.
He needs to rest.
I think Topuria needs to fight someone else just cause.
I know, but I'm just saying like it's on Volk's choice. It's gonna come to Volk's choice.
Yeah, but
our suggestion is rest. I'm saying that. But
I'm saying Dana White should take that decision.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, Volk, when he comes back next, it's gonna be for the belt.
Yeah, 100%.
As guaranteed.
Deserved.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was unfortunate. It's I did not think that he was gonna lose like that. Maybe he would have lost. I don't know. I didn't know much about Topuria. That's why we didn't make a prediction as well. But yeah, era, as Eric Ten Hag also said, era's end. Right? We saw whenever we started watching, Khabib retired. Like I said, Usman lost, never won it back. Izzy at least came back and then decided to do a dumbass performance against Strickland and lose. Light heavyweight John Jones never came back, and now he's back and he's on heavyweight at least. So yeah, women's side, Amanda Nunes is retired. She lost at one point as well, and then Valentina Shevchenko lost, and then drew, so it doesn't have the belt still. So yeah,
it's changing.
It's time for the longest reigning title right now is Leon Edwards.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
I think now it's at 500, almost 500 days, but it's been like almost 2 years since he won the KO, right?
Yeah. So he beat Usman and he beat Covington.
He beat Usman twice and then Covington.
Yeah, but he's only beat him once as a title defense.
Oh, like for a title defense.
Yeah, title defense. Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, he has the longest title reign at the moment. Other fights, Henry Cejudo lost to Merab, who should get
He's next in line.
Who should get the winner of Chito Vera and O'Malley. Henry Cejudo made the massive mistake of retiring, I guess, and in hindsight now, it shows like why would he come back? Obviously, maybe the Aljo fight was closer than it was, but this one he got rocked in the second and third rounds because we watched that fight before we went to our soccer game. Robert Whittaker ended up beating Paulo Costa, as well.
And then
what was the third fight?
Ian Gary.
Ian Gary had a boring fight and ended up winning.
Still undefeated.
Still undefeated.
Still undefeated.
But yeah, so overall not bad. Like I said, and
I'll give it.
I'm excited to see what.
Card.
Here's the one thing though. Topuria's like, you got to move on. No, that can't be the case.
You can't move on.
You have the belt, and I think he said something about Holloway not getting an opportunity as well. You got to give Holloway an opportunity. If anything, he's younger, and the only guy Holloway lost to, consistently was Volkanovski. I know he lost to Poirier in light heavyweight. Lightweight and McGregor as well.
It's simple as this. We have to see a Topuria Holloway. We have to see a Topuria Volkanovski rematch.
Topuria did call out McGregor in Spain to fight, and he deserves every right to fight in Spain now. Spain finally has some people. I think that's what they said on the broadcast, and they should definitely do one in Spain. And it's a beautiful country if you do it at the right spot for sure. But yeah, so that's our thoughts on that. UFC 298, UFC 300 had a very, very mixed, not even mixed, I think lackluster reaction to the 300 main event. It is what many people thought was probably going to be Leon Edwards and Bilal. Most likely ended up being Alex Pereira versus Jamal Hill. And I know you're more of a fan of that one. I am not as much, especially now that I know that UFC 301 is going to happen in Brazil. So I think that fight should have definitely happened in Brazil because who's your biggest Brazilian star? One of them's retired, and Amanda Nunes.
Yeah.
Glover Teixeira is retired. So it's this guy. So for me, it should have been Pereira in that one. And listen, Pereira is the bigger star than Leon Edwards. I agree with that, especially the whole Israel Adesanya also that pumped him up a little bit too. Jamal Hill, not so much. That's my concern with that one. I know what's his name said. I don't think Nick Baldwin agrees with you saying that, like, okay, well, sacrifices needed to be made. This is the only option they had, I guess, because he did not want Leon versus Bilal. Leon accepted 3 fights, but one of them was not offered for Bilal, which is kind of weird in my opinion. So
here's my thing, right? You gotta put the biggest name in the UFC 300, and I agree 100% with Nick Baldwin. I don't give a shit if 301 is Brazil. If you have a chance of seeing Pereira in the main event at 300 and he's your best remaining chance, it is Pereira. I'm sorry, Leon Edwards. Alexander Pereira is the bigger name. I don't even know if Alexander Pereira.
Just say Alex Pereira. You don't even know if it's Alexander.
I always like elongating the names, you know. Like Nick Baldwin.
At least get his last name right.
I said Pereira.
You said Pereira.
Pereira, whatever, man.
Listen, we got VAR check, so we're good.
I mean, we barely could speak English anyways. But yeah, Pereira is the bigger name. So I don't give a shit if UFC 301's in Brazil.
Yeah,
UFC 300. UFC
300
300 has to be the big card. And if you have to sacrifice Pereira for Brazil, you have to do it.
I unfortunately disagree with that, but that's just me.
Bro, there's no one else.
That's what I'm. Yeah,
there's no one else.
I would have just stuck it with Leon Edwards.
There was no one else.
Personally would have left it with Steve.
Nah, you gotta have the bigger one.
I feel like
if Pereira's the bigger name, you gotta put the bigger name. I
feel like Leon Edwards versus Bilal Muhammad as a whole is a bigger fight than Pereira versus Jamal Hill.
And you ranked yourself like out of the 4 people, you say Pereira's the one.
Yeah, but
Pereira's 1. You have Leon at 2, Bilal at number 3, and Hill at number 4.
But Hill is lower.
But like you gotta have the first guy. That's what matters.
I mean, it sucks.
You gotta have the top guy.
We all knew who this spot was gonna go to.
Conor McGregor.
No, well, yes, not him. Israel Adesanya.
Yeah,
that was the most realistic one. And obviously, he ended up losing and took that break, which he deserves. I'm not saying that's the case. And obviously, like you said, in hindsight now, it should have been Volk. It would have made the most sense. Yeah. Especially to how good. Now, watching Topuria fight.
Yeah.
Made a lot of sense.
It should have been Volk Topuria.
And then Makhachev obviously was the realistic answer until we found out the Ramadan situation, right? So, yeah, no. I feel like if you're going to go to Brazil, you need to give Brazil's biggest star to Brazil.
You know.
Or you're screwing over Brazil.
That's true.
That's like GSP is supposed to come to Canada one way or another, whether it be Vancouver or Toronto. But because of this, you bump them up.
That is true.
Now, GSP is a much bigger star than Pereira was.
That is true in every case, unless you're in a UFC 300.
Even if it's GSP, like GSP is a much bigger name, so that's obviously a bad example. But what I'm saying is, even if it was Mexico, if Brandon Moreno was your only option, I'm not saying Pereira, throw Pereira out the window here. I'm saying if Mexico was 301, I would have put Brandon Moreno in 301. If he was still champ. I know he's not champ, but I'm just saying in general, right? Davison Figueiredo is also fighting here. So you can't even say he could be your main event in 301.
Hey, man. You got to sacrifice 301 to make 300 special.
Listen,
you gotta do
Pereira
it.
did say that, like, hey, I'll do easy work here and I'll fight in 21 days if I have to. So let's see.
Imagine.
But no, I don't know. Like, obviously, like, it sucks for Jamal Hill because I think Pereira's going to win this fight, especially him coming after a long layoff.
Oh, we don't know either, right? Like,
True. It's UFC. Shit happens.
the last time we saw Jamal Hill, he was absolutely incredible.
But the problem is he didn't fight.
I know he
Yuri
didn't fight.
or Pereira.
I know, but I know. Don't get me wrong. Like, that is all true. But this light heavyweight division
Did he
itself,
fight Glover?
Yeah, that was the last
Glover
fight.
was old as well.
Yeah, I know, but Glover is freaking beat. Like, we already know the parity in the light heavy division.
Yeah.
And everyone deserves a title
True,
shot.
and I'm not
Like,
disagreeing with
legit,
that, but
every
I'm just
single
saying he fought Glover though. Look at Pereira and look at
What if
Yuri.
What if it was Ankalev instead of Jamal Hill?
Then I would have agreed with. I would have agreed with
I would
that.
have done that too.
Listen,
for sure.
Jamal Hill deserves the respect because he was the champ.
Yeah,
So
he
that's
was the
why
champ.
he got it. I'm not disagreeing with any of that. Ankalev, I guess because he fought more recent, maybe the recency bias is kind of hitting me on that one.
Yeah.
But he also fought recently. It was fight night on January.
January, yeah, that's true.
January fight night.
yeah, that's true.
Listen, I'm a fan of just watching fights, so I'm not gonna say too much. But again, we're not UFC experts. We'll talk to Nick Baldwin soon, hopefully, and we'll ask him what he thinks. I know based on his tweets, he agreed with you more so. I just feel like you're fucking over the country, man. That's all it is.
Hey, man.
That's just me.
It sucks to suck.
You're a corporate man, I see. You're the
It sucks to suck.
corporate man.
Bro, it doesn't matter, bro. UFC 200,
Like, I would be
100.
pissed if the top Canadian fighter would sacrifice that for that.
I would be pissed too. I agree with you 100%. But the issue is UFC 300.
It's not like Anderson Silva's coming out of retirement.
It's a
to
different
fight,
story if
but
it was
yeah.
like, UFC 303, then it's 304. Obviously, you're going to put Pereira in 304. It's 300.
And yeah,
It's a big number.
they got screwed over with the timing,
They really did.
right?
They
Like,
really did.
either your injuries got Ramadan or they just fought. Dana should have.
I think
If I was Dana, he messed up.
He should have stepped in.
He could have put O'Malley there. It would have been fine with me. I would have been fine. With it.
No, he messed up.
He messed up like by
Volk
putting
and
those guys
Topuria
earlier.
had to be 300.
Unless he.
You had to
No,
overwrite Volk.
I know that.
Yeah.
I'm not disagreeing with that.
Yeah.
I'm saying even if it wasn't that, O'Malley's a big enough star to be 300 as well. Now, I would have given him a better opponent than Chito Vera, but there's history there at least. Like, I would have rather seen O'Malley Vera instead of Hill Pereira. And you cannot say O'Malley's not the bigger star than Pereira. I'm sorry, you cannot say it. O'Malley's the bigger star.
Nah.
He's Dana's boy
Yeah.
as well,
So-
more so than Pereira. For me, O'Malley is the bigger star than Pereira.
Boy or the other B word.
Okay, but that's my point exactly. Still,
So
I still think he's the bigger star at the end of the day.
I don't think so.
I believe he's
I
a
don't-
bigger
I
star
don't
than
think so.
Pereira.
I don't think so.
I think Pereira's a better fighter. I'm talking about star, like star, right?
I think it's Pereira still.
I don't. Well,
Yeah.
we'll agree to disagree there. But yeah,
Yeah.
Dana messed up the matchmaking, in my opinion. He made us wait all this just for this announcement as well, which is what made it lackluster as well. He could have just announced this. I think he was trying his ass off to push it off to the last possible minute to do something.
I mean, yeah,
Because Hamza Chimaev was the name they were looking at, which was against either Leon or which was against, I guess, Izzy or Drickus.
like if
or
it was
something.
Leon Chimaev, I would have been really happy with that.
Yeah.
I would have been really.
So there's 6 main card fights. Co-main event is Jaylee Wang, deserved, right? I think she's probably the best female fighter right now. The third fight, which is also going to be a 5-rounder, is the BMF Holloway. Hopefully gets to first Topuria soon. Versus Gaethje, who's my boy, so I'm going for Gaethje, unfortunately, as good as Holloway is. I think opener is Aljo. He's
yeah.
moving up in weight. And I forget who the second fight is. But yeah, so that's the UFC 300 at the moment. Yeah, I still think it's I know you believe it's still like a lackluster announcement of what we were expecting.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But
I just felt like Pereira was your
yeah,
best option.
but from what it was announced, yeah.
Pereira was your best option.
Okay.
All right, let's move on. Rest of it's like around like Quickfire.
Yeah.
I know it's been a little bit long-winded, but we'll start off with MLB. Jay signed Daniel Vogelbach. Yay.
Minor league contract.
Wow.
And also Eduardo
I'm really
Escobar,
excited.
minor league contract. We'll just keep it there. You guys know our thoughts.
I'm really excited.
At this point, the only thing I'm going to talk about the Jays now before we do the MLB season preview is it's just a wait and see for me. That's all it is.
The only thing I pray about the Jays is that I hope your pitching doesn't let off because we are screwed if it does.
Yeah.
All right, next up, NFL cut candidates.
Was there any more MLB signings?
I'll check, but you pull up the NFL list.
Okay, so NFL cut candidates according to the score. I disagree with some of these names, but the 15 names they have said, and you could just give me quick answers. Russell Wilson, obviously,
Yes.
yes. Where do you think is his best fit? Is it Vegas? Is it Atlanta? Is it Pittsburgh? Is it Minnesota?
All of them. I would say Atlanta is probably the best.
Okay. Nick Chubb, do you agree he'll get bought out? 1 year left on the contract.
No.
Is it because of his injury? I guess.
Yeah, obviously it's because of the injury.
But if he gets cut, though, oh my God, if he ends up going on a contender.
It's Chiefs. Imagine if Chiefs just get him.
Jimmy Garoppolo. Yes, he's gonna get cut. I think
I don't even know if he's gonna get signed.
Yeah, I think he's a backup now.
Oh, he's a backup for sure.
People are saying that if he was caught on PEDs and he still got benched for Aiden O'Connell, you might as well not even give him the suspension.
Yeah, that's true.
Mike Williams, 1 year left on his contract.
It's just injuries for him. I think he should.
Indy.
Yeah, I think Mike Williams will get cut. It's probably the one of the names I thought, at the beginning of the off season.
Pass rushers, his teammates, Joey Bosa, 2 years left. Khalil Mack, 1 year left.
Well, yeah, you could see both. Obviously, Bosa is injuries and nothing with talent. Mack is just probably with his age, and we're also going to see a different Chargers team, right? Because they were dreadful.
Yeah, new GM, new
coach, right? So
in general.
Stuff is going to change. So that's why it makes sense where you see those as candidates.
David Bakhtiari, 1 year left.
Makes sense. Packers are going a young
Did he
direction.
play last year?
Barely. I guess I don't even know.
Alvin Kamara, 2 years left.
That's a little bit tough one. Reason being that he is their best offensive weapon.
Yeah.
All right. And all credit, Chris Olave is incredible, but Alvin Kamara is the best offensive weapon in the Saints. So
I don't see it.
I don't see it.
Hassan Reddick.
Yeah,
1 year left. I think it's a money issue for him.
If they don't find a trade, if they don't find a trade, I could see it happening.
Tyler Lockett, 2 years left.
That's what happens when you get Jackson.
I'm not reading the cap savings at this point.
I know, but
I'm just saying
that's what happens when you draft Jackson sitting the Jigba.
I still think they need him, but
he's a replacement, right?
This one's a weird one. 3 years.
I could definitely see Lockett too. Lockett was one as well.
3 years left on this guy's contract, Devondre Campbell.
Yeah, a little bit surprised on that one. I don't think.
It's probably because they have Key Walker and all these guys.
Quay Walker, yeah.
Xavier Howard, 3 years left. I've been hearing his name a lot.
Yeah.
I think he's in a massive contract too, right?
He's massive contract, yeah.
If he is, yeah, I'm down. Hunter Renfrow, 1 year left. I think that's yes.
Yeah.
And Jamal Adams, yes.
Yes.
I see that happening, and I don't think people want him.
Injuries and
here's the last one, a weird one, but he has 1 year left on his contract. It is Kevin Byard.
Yeah, it depends on what direction Eagles go. Because at the end of the day,
it depends on who is it now? Vic Fangio?
Yeah, if he fits in that system as well, yeah. Yeah, so those are the candidates based on score.
Any other ones you could think on the top of your head?
Not really. They got the ones that, like, I had Lockett had it, I had Mike Williams.
I was surprised to see Chubb and Kamara.
I was very excited to see Chubb and Kamara. I had Jamal Adams on it. I had all these guys. Like, they nailed most of them.
Okay, well, we'll keep the more NFL rumors later on as well.
All right.
Last topic here. Nothing MLB, right?
No.
Soccer-wise, just 3 things. One, Mbappe has not confirmed Real Madrid. They did get a contract proposal. However, he did confirm, essentially Fabrizio Romano, who I believe more than the other guy, no offense to that guy from ESPN, did confirm that he's leaving. He has told PSG that. He has told his teammates that he will be leaving. Obviously, the worst kept secret is Madrid. We'll see if it's any other team. Liverpool, but then again, money-wise, we don't know. Plus, new coach situation there.
Obviously, like, if everyone's prediction is probably Madrid.
Yeah.
And obviously hopeful Liverpool fans. But otherwhere else, I don't really see anything else either. I think it's Madrid.
Oh, baseball-wise, sorry. Whit Merrifield, 1 year, 8 million contract.
To the Phillies.
Which is a good contract fit for them.
Yeah, so yeah, Kylian Mbappe, obviously, we're going to see the Mbappe versus Holland is going to be at different teams now, right? They both are moved. Dortmund, PSG, should be Madrid, City. And honestly, bigger teams, bigger names, more well known. Obviously, City now you could say they have trophies, so you could say that they're
Well, European trophy to be exact, because they've had domestic trophies.
Yeah, that's true. But like they're getting history now. They're getting some sort of.
Slightly. They're claiming Raheem Sterling is not their legend. What other legend do they really have?
They don't have anyone. But 5 years down the line, you're gonna see De Bruyne as a legend. Which.
Well, yeah, that's fair. True. But who else? That's it.
That's like
Holland, if he stays.
They're starting to create the history now.
again, still a long way to go.
That's still like, you know, you still got,
115 charges is also part of their history.
yeah, that's true too.
But yeah,
no.
So we'll see where he officially signs. I think the worst kept secret is Madrid.
If it's Madrid, it's over. It's legit. We already know the UCL final, basically.
Yeah.
Next year.
Depending on draw, obviously.
Yeah, that's true.
The other two news are coaching related. The first one, Thomas Tuchel has lost once again. I don't know if it's a Harry Kane and Eric Dyer effect or is it really Thomas Tuchel, which is weird because he should not have been let go by Chelsea in the first place. And then Bayern Munich decided to jump the gun and fire their coach for this guy.
For no reason.
And he struggled ever since he came in as well. And now even during the Champions League, they lost 1-0. They lost to Bayer Leverkusen, and now they lost to some random team.
So we mentioned like a bunch about Bayern last part as well, but I want to keep this one a little bit shorter.
But like, is he gone at this point? They're saying that for the reasons Romano said, there's internal discussion.
He should be, right? Like, what has he? Why isn't he gone? Nagelsmann got fired for less.
Yeah.
Way less.
Yeah.
Like Bayern was top of the league, winning games, and he got.
And they were undefeated in the Champions League at that point too, I think.
Yeah. So, you know the conspiracy theory that I just came up with, that it's all falling into Jurgen Klopp's plans, aka meaning that Tuchel gets fired, Nagelsmann gets the job back, Klopp gets Germany job.
Okay, so you're going that route.
Klopp gets Germany job.
No, okay. Let's see.
And then Xabi Alonso gets the Liverpool job.
Yeah, so that's the thing, right? Is he going to be Bayern Munich's coach because he's going to be available at the end of the year? Know, so are they keeping Tuchel just for the sake of keeping Tuchel for the end of the year?
Just wait for Xabi Alonso?
Yeah, but the thing is, I think a report saw Xabi's leaning more to Liverpool than
because we already know who the two front runners are. We know the two front runners
are. Yeah. Here's the thing. Xabi Alonso for Liverpool's ownership is going to be the biggest hurdle to jump.
Yeah,
I think they'll get him, but does if Bayern offers more money, will Fenway Sports Group do it?
We don't know. We don't know.
And if Xabi played, I know he's more of a legend at Liverpool. I know he played for Bayern Munich after Madrid.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that goes, but you know, and again, he did well with a smaller team. He's winning the league. Not always translates when you join a bigger team with pressure, right? We all seen that happen. I'm not saying Xabi Alonso won't do it. But again, it's a coach who's done well with it.
Like we've seen it with a lot of coaches, right? Like
Erik ten Hag right now is getting faulted for a lot of things, but
yeah, ten Hag's obviously on blast. You have Gerrard to a lower extent, from going from the
Rangers to Villa.
You had the biggest one is Graham Potter. From Brighton to Chelsea.
That's the biggest one, right? So, yeah, no, we'll see how that goes. That's why we're always concerned with getting Eddie Howe and all these guys, right? Who knows? Pochettino might be out of a job. Maybe Ten Hag's out of a job, which I disagree with that one.
United's on a run right now.
Yeah, but again, the people are arguing the football is boring, which is fine, fair, but they're getting results. They should have won by more today, but that's a different story. But yeah, Thomas Tuchel should be gone. I don't know when their next Champions League game is. Might be covering it next pod. I hope it's not this week.
No, it's
this week is the different.
It's the other
switch around. Yeah, you're right. We already made our predictions on that a couple of weeks ago. Big games though. Keep an eye out on that. But yeah, for me, yeah, he should be gone. As much as I don't want to say keep firing coaches, but Bayern has to be on blast on this because
they have to be on blast.
It's not like they're hiring bad coaches and then they're doing it. I know your expectations are different, but you should have.
I think they
run it out with Nagelsmann.
They forgot to tell Harry Kane to leave the Tottenham behind. Yeah, they really did.
Exactly. So let's see. Maybe I mean Bayern have done this before where they come back and win the league. We'll see if that. But
this is a different task, man.
But the coach is also different, so there's a difference there.
This is a different task because like they're far behind.
Tuchel almost choked it last year, right?
Yeah, they almost choked it last year. Like they're legit full-blown 3 games behind.
Yeah.
Right? That's a lot to make up.
We'll see with that. The last coaching thing is a rumor. I don't know how it's not true, but James Sharman, who's up there in Canada soccer reporting, says Thierry Henry is interested in the Canada men's coaching job. Is he an upgrade over Biello? I'm assuming yes.
Yes, he is.
But the question is, obviously, a lot of fan bases are basing on what he has done with AS Monaco, and he was assistant coach with Belgium, right? Obviously with Montreal, I think he took him to the playoffs after a while, but he left after a couple of years. He's interested. I'm fine with it because he's still at least a guy. I think the players, especially a guy like Davies and David,
they'll like
David it. Especially,
they will like it.
They will like a guy that has been respected in the league. Across all of Europe.
Yeah,
like he's a legend. He's
in the game,
right? He's a legend in the game. One of the top strikers of the world. Wherever you're gonna rank him all time, but in that sense, sure. Again, do we have the money for it? Kind of soccer's broken. Okay,
he's an upgrade over Biello, but he's not touching Herdman of what he's done.
Yeah,
right. The name is obviously gonna help for sure. Is Thierry Henry? people are gonna follow what Thierry Henry is gonna do.
But the problem is, good players never make good coaches.
That's
right?
true.
So
That's true.
That's the issue there.
We don't know, but at the end of the day, he might be your only option, right? Like,
If he is a realistic.
who else is gonna come in? Obviously, you have CPL guys
But
that might deserve opportunities
It
as well.
depends what he. Yeah, so I might be with when Peter Glinda before he took the Toronto FC job when we had him on the pod. I might give a chance to the CPL guys.
Yeah, like I would prefer
over
that.
Henry maybe.
I would prefer that. I just think you gotta get BL out of the helm as soon as possible.
We'll see what happens with
You gotta
Trinidad. We'll see what happens in Trinidad.
Bro, like
but
what has like I know Bielo is interim and like he hasn't really had like time, but he hasn't shown nothing but like regression.
I don't see why the players would respect him as. I know he was on the coaching staff before, so I'm not if I'm not mistaken.
I'm just saying Bielo is not doing very well. He's been doing terrible.
Yeah.
Like there's no point of keeping Bielo. Like he has given you no reason to keep him.
No, for me, I think I don't even know if they hired their general secretary or whatever the case is.
Yeah.
So they're still in shambles, right?
They're in shambles.
But yeah, it was interesting to talk about, right? Because it is Thierry Henry. We'll see how he goes. Again, upgrade over Bielo. We'll see. Is he the guy to put Canada soccer a little bit over? Maybe he'll get the respect, but again, he has been
The name factor.
He's been jumping from job to job as well.
The name factor is gonna help.
The name factor will help.
the
But
end
the
of the day,
question is, how long will he stay?
We don't know,
So
right? Like
that's the thing.
Thierry Henry, people are gonna be interested, right? We'll see what happens, right? Obviously, Canada's main priority is to qualify for the Copa America because that's one of the best competitions in the world,
Yeah.
right? So you gotta get that done, and no matter what happens, you gotta play in that tournament.
Yeah, we'll keep it there. I think that's it for us. Just a reminder to everybody that the last podcast episode was re-uploaded on Sunday night, so make sure you guys tune into that one if you guys are a new subscriber that haven't seen that one. That one we talked a lot more NBA playoffs and all that stuff, and also other topics like soccer and everything. So make sure you guys check that out. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. We're on the road to 500. Make sure you guys check out our YouTube shorts, TikToks, and Instagram Reels. We're always posting on it daily almost, so check those out as well. Other than that, we'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.